Yo, we are live. It looks like we are good. I think. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome. Hope everyone's having a good day so far. Just making sure all my stuff is good here on this side monitor. See, Math, Perky, Gamer Girl, Corby, Devin. Hello, everybody. Yeah, you can thank Thor for this. Thor decided he wanted to help upgrade the stream a little, and he surprised me with this, so big shout out to Thor. I don't know if he's here yet, but yeah, he made this. Yo, hogs. Should be good like that. Stream seems a little not that stable right now, but I'm gonna hope for the best. Yo, Lunar. Hype to judge my L takes. Same, you're my favorite YouTuber. I appreciate that. Video news coming soon? Yeah, probably some point this week. You should expect something. Hello, Sab. Gotta keep an eye on my OBS, because I'm a little worried about it. I can move it up in this corner here. Yeah, this is gonna be good. We're just gonna wait for people to kind of come on into the stream. We'll wait a couple minutes, and then we'll get into the Pepe laughs. There will be plenty. Yes, pray for Damar indeed. Definitely send his prayers over to him. To hear about Kai's retirement, I did. I don't know if it's a troll or not, though. He tends to troll those types of things. We'll see what happens. Hey, A7. Can't not wait for my reaction in New York. Hello, Santa Pig. Thoughts of Mayhem picking up Sauna? I don't know that much about him. I mean, we're going to talk about it a little later in the stream, so definitely stick around. When does next season begin? We don't know quite yet. Hello, Sam. It should be banned. Oh, jeez. Oh, there's Thor. Everyone thank Thor for the neat new animation we have for our webcam border words. Could be the ons of flex DPS. I sure hope so. That'd be pretty sweet. I think 2022 London can still hold up. We shall see. Maybe. We'll talk about all of the roster stuff later in the stream. We're going to start with the reaction, and then we'll go from there. I'm kind of just waiting for people to jump in since we're just starting here. Yeah, it's a work in progress as well, but big shout out to Thor. This is why we don't ban Thor, indeed. ATP's my initials. Just finished a trial for Open Division, so the stream is perfectly timed. Well, I'm glad to hear that, Lunar. Hope it went well for you. Yo, Taboo. Good to see you, dude. And Elliot. A lot of familiar faces in the chat today. I guess everyone wants to help Pepe laugh at the L takes that are about to happen. Well, we all kind of knew Reiner was going. It's been a rumor for a long time. Hello, everyone that's jumping into the stream. I appreciate all you guys. Yeah, I'm going to add that to my list of things. I'm going to drag over this tab. Boop. Bam. I think Hisi will join Shock. We'll see. Oh, I know why part of my frames are probably messed up. I got to pause the stream in the background. I have it playing. Been following since 2018. I've seen 80% of the streams, but this is my first time commenting. Well, welcome. Glad to have you. Florida picking up Chorong is a big dub, and we'll talk about it later for sure. I'm starting with my reaction to my, I think, in my opinion, probably the worst power rankings I've ever done. I mean, for a lot of people, it's probably this way, but I personally feel like I did really, really bad. I mean, there's a lot of L's with this power rankings, you know. How did the pull the ban Thor go? It was somewhat close. Florida or Dallas on paper, who do you prefer? Florida maybe have more pieces, but Dallas are pretty interesting. No, you're not late. We're just getting started. Dallas still have a lot of good pieces. Just the fact that they have Sparkle, Humpin, and Edison, and Bliss is fine. There's something that is coming up soon. Another work in progress of mine? Gotcha. Sounds good. Yes, React content indeed. I'm just going to give it another minute or two, and then we're jumping right into this. What on earth are the Spark doing? That's a great question. I don't really know. I think Dante should find a new team. I don't see why he wouldn't. I'd be lost too if Boston didn't make playoffs with that team they have cooking up. Let's see. I'll give it like another minute or two, and then we're gonna get started, baby. I'm also gonna record the VOD, so if you do jump in late or you have to hop out or whatever, don't worry. I'm gonna upload a VOD of just the reaction part of the stream, of this part. So you don't have to go through the whole stream looking for it. So don't feel bad if you have to leave at any point. It'll be up probably tomorrow. I'll probably have the VOD up. I'm recently watching all your old videos as podcasts when I'm doing stuff. Love the content. I really do appreciate that. My light just randomly turned off. Why did you turn off? That is weird. Huh. This light just died? That's so weird. Huh. That's so crazy. Hold on. It's dead. Oh wait, it's back. It's alive. Oh god, it's bright. What the heck? That was weird. Why would Yaki go to Glads if they have Kevster? People forget that Kevster actually played a lot of hitscan and contenders, so it wouldn't be the biggest deal, believe it or not. Kevster played a lot of hitscan back in the day. I think that's kind of the... I think that's more so the thing that people remember him as for, like, longtime Contenders fans. Yo, Rorima, Happy New Year. First stream of the new year. We're going to start it off right by laughing at my awful, awful power rankings. Should be a lot of fun. I just pray that my stream will cooperate. I'm seeing some random frame droppage. It should be very interesting to see how this goes. I'm gonna pray that we hold out, though. Yeah, the Florida comment got me for sure. Yes, most recent season of AWL. Yeah, in 2022, but I think if he, like, seriously focuses on hit scan full-time, Kevster will be fine. Profit to London, yeah, that'd be weird. I don't remember anything about this power ranking, but I assume you put London super low. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I was not high on London at all. I think I probably hated on them even more than, like, the average fan, to be honest with you. Opinion Eternal, not a big fan. All right. I think we can probably get into it. Let me just do an audio check. Let me know how good this sounds, if it's loud enough. I made sure to do some stuff pre-stream, so it should be good, but let me know how it sounds. With jokes aside, things are going to be more unpredictable than ever before. I mostly went off how appealing rosters looked on paper to me as a result of... How we sounding? It's good? Perfect. Awesome. Glad I got it down this time. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna hit record to start my VOD in just a second here. Just gonna line it up.
Thinking about the long term here.
Let's see.
Who is the best in everything, but I'm more so thinking about the long term here.
Let's see.
Expert who has a really high opinion. I'm just a fan like you guys.
True.
Entertainment is the name of the game here on this channel, so keep that in mind as you inevitably flame.
All right, that should be good. As I inevitably flame my rankings. Yep. Okay. I'm gonna start recording. Hang on, actually, just wait for my stream to stabilize. All right, we're good. So we're going to be reacting to my 2022 pre-season power rankings. Don't roast me too hard, chat, please. I beg of you. I know they're bad, but I didn't know any better. It should be fun. I'll make sure to kind of pause in between to give you an idea of what I was thinking. And, you know, we can also take a general idea of how some of these rankings went. We can kind of compare it to how teams finish in the standings, and we'll go from there. So, yeah, let's get started.
My rankings. With lengthy intros aside, let's get into this. And kicking us off at the number 20 spot is the Los Angeles Valiant. I honestly just don't know what to think of them, you know?
Right off the bat, we're not exactly starting in the greatest spot. I mean, the Valiant were the worst team in APAC, but they definitely were not the number 20 team in the league. You could argue maybe like bottom 5 if you wanted to, but they're definitely not the worst team. That kind of just goes without saying. They were extremely competitive this year, which kind of surprised me. I didn't really like the roster that much on paper. It seemed a little scattered, but they did pretty all right for themselves. I think this ranking could have been worse, but it definitely wasn't very good. As a reminder, the Eternal finished in 20th. They won just a single game compared to the Valiant, who won what was it? 7 games, I believe. Yeah, Valiant won 7 games. And then the teams that had less wins, or that had, less points than them were Vancouver, NYXL, and Eternal. So Valiant were technically the 4th worst team record-wise, or point-wise, if you want to go there. So not the worst in the world, but obviously they were nowhere close to the bottom team. Eternal were just so much worse.
Like, they're better than last year and everything, but that's nothing to brag about. They pretty much had the worst year of all time in 2021.
This is true.
Having an improved roster only required a small bit of effort, so you've ensured you do have a fighting chance of not going winless this year.
Which they didn't.
How much further can you take it, though? Can
Quite a bit.
Actually not be the worst team in APAC?
And well, they were the worst team in APAC, but they had a fighting chance of making play-ins in their credit.
A possibility. Do you feel great about the rods and them as a whole?
Nope.
No, definitely not. Improvement or not, it's still an average-looking roster at best. Places like support and tank feel very up in the air.
That's for sure. And you have to remember, this is before they got Marvel as well, so I was like even less confident in them just having Sashin as a tank.
Going to lack consistency. Their level of play very much might depend on the day. The Valiant just don't have enough star power to scare you. Even through the improvements, they're still bottom half of the league no matter what.
Well, that much is true.
There's a chance they could come in 20th yet again. On to number 19, where
just for my final comment, I guess, I mean, that last part about how it depended on the day with them was kind of true. They had their hot streaks, you know? And I give them credit. There were a lot of close map 5s, and if they had taken some of them, maybe they're the ones to make the play-ins over like Chengdu or whoever. Sasha and the break player.
Have the London Spitfire.
Oh boy, here it is.
The London Spitfire don't give off much confidence at all.
No one tell him what's gonna happen here. Oh no, he doesn't know, chat. This one's bad.
I know they made a lot of changes and they've got new coaching, some exciting things are going on, but they still fall way short of the benchmark. They do not have that killer instinct or guaranteed star power that you are desperately looking.
Okay, so in all fairness, in my defense, after what happened in 2021, this team wasn't exactly looking promising. In my defense, Hadi played a lot better than I thought he would. Sparker improved and played more towards the potential that we knew he had. Backbone was like a solid pickup. Their back line was pretty decent as well. I just, like, on paper, like, I felt like they didn't have any star players. Maybe I should have put more faith in them, sure, but after what I saw last year, I really just didn't have any hopes.
Looking for if you're a London fan. They've got a whole bunch of, well, okay pieces. Without any real hard carries or stars, you're being put at a disadvantage. I mean, even some of the weaker teams in the West have a guy or two that you consider to be an X factor.
And this ended up being really false. Hadi and Sparker were both X factors. I mean, without a shadow of a doubt, they were star players. Hadi, I mean, they literally built their entire game plan around him. He won a Roll Star Award, so that couldn't be any further from the truth. And Sparker was just a really, really good hit scan player. So this was just totally false. I didn't give them enough credit. I really didn't. A lot of credit has to go to Christopher. He coached this team big time into a lot better of a shape than they could have been, I think. And also, I saw someone ask, where did London end? So I had them 19, right? And they finished 6th place in North America with 16 points. And in general, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams finished ahead of them. So they're, like, record-wise or point-wise, they were in the top half of the league. And I had them 19th. So to say I slept on them would be an absolute understatement.
London don't have any of that. A good number of their guys have so much to prove. DPS is shaping up to be really important, and London just don't have that guy. And think about the weird situation the support line is in. The
and again, they proved me wrong.
So many inconsistencies and weird questions that we have to answer with them.
And all of them were answered. Like, just genuinely, they're a good team. They're actually a good team.
And they're so lackluster overall. I'm hoping to be wrong, but
and I was very much wrong.
Least competitive teams in the league, rolling into the number 18 spot.
Okay, so that was, that couldn't have been more further from the truth. They were extremely competitive, not like top tier, but they're damn good. I'd say that's a pretty drastic change. It's one of my worst ever predictions in the preseason of the power rankings. I had 19. I had them at 19th, and they were, like, top 8 record-wise. Like, that is a giant jump, and it's one of my worst ever rankings, along with, like, 2020 Paris and Valiant.
Is the Vancouver Titans. I perceive the Titans...
so 18 for the Titans, I mean, isn't that bad? This one isn't horrible. It's actually accurate. Because Paris had the worst record, followed by New York. Then Vancouver had the 3rd least amount of points, and that's 18th. Because the Valiant had 7, so this is actually a spot-on placement, surprisingly. I mean, it's not saying much, because most people thought the Titans would be awful. But, hey, I'll take it.
As somebody who has a chance to slightly surpass expectations, the only problem is, the chance is incredibly small. While I appreciate the Titans starting from scratch and all, they didn't exactly do a great job.
Can we just take a moment to look at this? Like, how much their team changed in such a short amount of time. They got rid of Psycho. He was just gone. They got rid of Shockwave. They replaced False with Mirror as their new starting tank player. They got King. So much stuff changed.
A team with quite a few unproven talents doesn't get you excited. The good news, though, is the rebuild definitely has a different feel from the last one. They're starting over, but this time they do have some decent and proven talent at a couple of places.
Which is true.
Shockwave and Aspire make for a crazy 1-2 punch at damage.
Or so we thought.
These two have easily held their own so far in their careers, and they could low-key sneak up on some people and help the Titans get a couple of wins.
I mean, Aspire
did.
did.
Remember, they signed Masa, who's going to help a lot here as well.
Okay, he did not.
His leadership and his experience could pay huge dividends for a team that's so young, and
that was not true. That's for sure. Masa was very quiet this year. Not all his fault. I think he was losing motivation during this year, but didn't really play well at all, to be honest with you.
That's on top of his impressive skill set and championship level experience. The issue is, the rest of the roster is so unproven at this level.
Which was true.
The Titans possess a lot of interesting pieces, but it's not enough to warrant a placement outside of the bottom tier.
Yep.
There's a chance they could be one of the better teams at this level, but that's kind of where you draw the line.
Indeed.
Anyway, as we move on, next we have the Guangzhou Charge.
Okay, so I feel like the first half of the season, this was looking pretty good. But then they really turned it up a notch in the second half. I mean, overall, they still did finish somewhat low. They had 10 points. They weren't 17 at all. I mean, like, the Valiant were worse, Chengdu were worse, Eternal, NYXL, and Vancouver, and technically, okay, so just 5 teams. Boston had the same amount of points, but a better map differential, so I was pretty close with them. They're what, 16th? Like, that's not that bad.
My biggest issue with the Charge is they failed to make the huge upgrades they desperately needed.
Well,
Despite
at the time,
a rough 2021 season, there was definitely a foundation to build around thanks to Krong, Eileen, and Choi Se-wan. If they managed to get another star or two during the offseason, their future could have been rather bright.
And I mean, hey, to their defense, they changed what wasn't working. They got Xerneas, they got Jimmy, and, like, the results speak for themselves. They looked a lot better. They got Piggy as well. So honestly, this isn't that bad of a take. They weren't good at the time, and they made the proper improvements to have a strong second half of the year.
Some of their new guys maybe are getting a little underestimated here. They failed to sign anybody that gives you that guaranteed talent that gets you excited. Molly and Unique feel just okay, with the potential to be something, but you're not getting your hopes up. And after 3 years, they still have Rio, who has been nothing more than average the last couple of years.
Oh god, I'm such a Rio hater. He's so mid, dude. I'm sorry. But yeah, they did get rid of him, at least.
If you primarily play Krong, wouldn't it be better to sign a new and refreshing tank to back him up rather than the same old, same old? On top of that, I'm not entirely sure if the hit skin situation is forever solved. The Charge
not at all.
Be decent if they piece it together, but in their current state, there's just too many what-ifs to call them a solid
Develop
team.
was a disaster.
Next up, we have the Boston Uprising. I feel like they made some improvements in some aspects, and yet they still appear to be a step or two behind the competition. Adding Striker was a major plus for them, and that support line of theirs looks pretty impressive.
Okay, so like I was just saying, like, it's like the same thing as Guangzhou, where I'm like a spot off with Boston's placement. Not the worst thing in the world. However, my take on why I thought they'd be decent was pretty far from the truth, considering Striker up and left after like a few weeks.
But that only makes up a fraction of their team. That tank situation of theirs is bizarre. To pick up a third tank right before the start of the year
This was
gives me
part
some
of my
bad
concern,
vibes.
yep.
Not a single team, aside from them, have a 3 full-time tank system. And it's not like any of their tanks are amazing either.
This, I don't think I realized how accurate this really was at the time. The struggle of not playing Punk and going with the tanks that they did. It kind of was a struggle for them for a while until they realized, hey, we should really play Punk full time.
Punk is respectable, but not groundbreaking. Marvel might be washed at this point. We really don't know.
He wasn't washed.
We have no idea what to expect from him, and even then, he just seems like he'll be okay.
Yep.
Then whoever plays next to Striker at DPS is kind of in a similar situation, where you don't know if to trust them or not.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced that Striker's magic is going to be enough to save this roster.
Yeah, the magic is what made him leave the team. Oh my god, that's hilarious. Yeah, I think the DPS was a concern. Valentine and Victoria weren't anything special. Tank was weird until they finally played Punk full-time, and support was like, okay.
The team has decent playmaking potential and everything, but they look and feel like an incomplete roster.
And that's what they were.
They're not well-rounded enough to be noticeably better than last year.
Yep.
Number 15, the Florida Mayhem.
Okay, yeah, this one, I definitely slept on them. Like, I almost put them higher when I was making these rankings, but I, like, went against it because I wasn't entirely convinced still. This one isn't very good, though, on my part, for sure. This one's on me. They were definitely a lot better than what I initially thought. Someone proved to be even better than anticipated. Hydron was really good. Checkmate also really shocked me. And, Majed also is pretty darn good. Yeah, we haven't even gotten to Paris yet. This is a big L placement. Florida ended up placing in the top 10, just to let you know, chat. They amassed 15 points, which was good enough for 7th place in North America. And they were far better than the teams that were below them, I'd say. And I mean, other than that, I was just a little worried after they got rid of their old core, but it ended up being the best possible move they could have made.
What an interesting case the Mayhem are proving to be. The offseason has seen them steadily improve. The last few weeks in particular have seen them make a lot of adjustments, both
yeah, see, this is what I was talking
DPS,
about.
which ultimately means that the season could go a bit more in their favor than initially anticipated. The Mayhem don't necessarily terrify you, but they might be on the rise.
And I mean, that was partially true. I just didn't give them enough credit.
Their new rookies provide a good bit of promise.
Which they most certainly did.
I've especially heard a lot of noise about someone
in Hydron and RuPaul and Majed were all crazy.
emerging as a dominant tank player, and with Exy around, the DPS carry potential is through the roof.
I mean, that's what I thought, but he ended up not being important at all on this team, man.
Florida have some great-looking pieces, and rumor has it they're doing somewhat decently in scrims, which ultimately has me second-guessing the idea of them being bottom 3 in North America.
Which was, I guess,
far
right.
from elite until proven otherwise. My excitement for their rebuild has slowly grown, but there's way too many question marks to call them a legit team. Specifically, I have no clue what to expect at support. This aspect of—
Okay, pause here. At the time, Majed was having visa issues and we weren't sure when he was going to play. So my assumption at the time was Kareev was going to play flex support because he was a support player on their team at the time. Just for some context.
Team seems like it could end up struggling. Animo and Kareev simply aren't in their primes anymore. This isn't 2019. Their synergy's gonna be good, but their skill level might not be good enough. And it's not like you feel any better about Sir Majed. But even so, you should still be keeping a close eye on the Mayhem. The hype has been building quite a bit, and I think they generally might be in for a surprise year.
I mean, that was right. I just was very, very, very off with where I ended up placing them.
Number 14, the Hangzhou Spark.
Yeah, another one where I really underestimated a team. I just wasn't that excited about the Spark. I felt like nothing had really changed. I did not like their coaching. They ended up placing where exactly? Valiant had more points. Chengdu, Guangzhou, that's 3 teams. 4, 5, 6, 7 teams. So they finished about 8 places up. So what were they, like 11th, I think? Hangzhou were like 12 or 11th. Why does it say Hong Kong Spark? I have no idea, to let you know. Yeah, they're like top 12, so this wasn't that far off. It's just like, they had some really good peaks, you know? They had some really, really strong peaks, which is the thing that differentiates like my placement compared to like how good they actually did, because they had a couple of really good runs. Mid-season madness, you know, first half of the season in general, playoffs. That was like the big issue. If they didn't find that success, I'd say this placement was more justified.
This team is a curious case. On the surface, they feel like the same team as last year. They've got a lot of players. Unlike last year, though, the firepower seems to be a bit stronger all around. We know what Shy's capable of at this point, so that gives them a guaranteed star. And the good news about this year is they have even more help at DPS, as AlphaYi and Pineapple should bolster the rotation quite a bit.
And that was true. I mean, mostly AlphaYi, but he was a really good player next to Shy for the most part.
Necessary changes at support also gives them more of a
The
fighting
support
chance.
line wasn't that good, though.
There's one problem, though. Their coaching still doesn't feel amazing.
Yeah.
Head coach Changgun is not my favorite. In fact, I criticized him quite a bit during his Dynasty days. The Spark already had a messy coaching situation last year as it is, so this doesn't help them.
This was my ultimate fear with Hangzhou. I was like, oh god, they have Changgun as their coach. There's just no way they can win, right? No shot. But they proved me wrong. They had the classic Changgun BS happen to them, you know, where they play good randomly at the most random times and go on runs.
I would have preferred if they signed a more stable option. I like the Spark, but I also dislike them. They're a very middle-of-the-road team, very deep, with maybe a few holes, but also a coach that makes me believe they will be wildly inconsistent.
I mean, that is pretty true. They were wildly inconsistent. I'll give myself that for the time. First half of the season, all the way up here. Second half of the season, way down here. Playoffs, all the way up here.
I wouldn't put it past the Spark to maybe sneak into the playoffs, but don't get your hopes up. At number 13,
yeah, you should have gotten your hopes up.
You've got the Paris Eternal.
Oh, here it comes. Oh my god, I'm so wrong about Paris. Oh my god, they're so bad. They were so bad. They were terrible. It's one of the worst seasons of all time. I can't believe how much they let me down. I was so excited after how they played in 2021. They're a real exciting underdog. They still have the same team. I liked their coaching. I thought that, what's-his-face was good, J-Mac. I thought they had a real shot of being decent, but then I felt like things fell apart before it even really got started. They struggled, releases kept happening, and things just spiraled out of control. I think it could have been, worse, but 13th is not good. I had a lot of praise for them. I really liked their, people within their org. Maybe that blinded me a little, but what can you do?
What to say about the Eternal? On one hand, there's reason to feel skeptical about them. Their offseason wasn't amazing by any means. On the other hand, their roster is still pretty respectable. In a sense, they could be exactly the same as last year, but with more potential. There are 3 reasons why this could be the case. For one, they made a nice move at DPS by acquiring Glister.
He was gone before we even knew it. That was part of the problem. I was very high on Glister, and he was just gone. Didn't work out, Yeah, Paris' one win came against New York in a map 5, so they barely won a game this season. They just barely avoided being the next winless team. Yeah, losing Get Amazed definitely hurt them more than I thought.
Second of all, their coaching might be even better than last year, which could lead to even better strategies.
Nope, it was even worse.
And good game adjustments. Thirdly, their synergy and general confidence could be even greater. You've got to keep in mind that guys like Vestola and Dridro, they joined the team mid-season last year.
Which I think is fair to say.
Spent more time with their teammates, their play could see a notable spike. Honestly, this might apply to everyone in general, though. Just the fact that they're all together in person this year should lead to a tighter-knit group who trust each other more in critical situations.
I mean, that might have been true, but they never really had a chance to get in those critical situations because they were bad, and their whole team exploded. If I had known things were this bad internally, there's no way I'd ever put them this high. They literally lost their entire team before the season even ended. Everyone that was on the 2022 roster at the start was not there by the finish.
How I see it is, the Eternal aren't a crazy threat, but they're respectable. They're like mid-tier.
Not at all.
Blow your socks off, but they probably won't be bottom tier either.
Oh, if only he knew, Chad. If only he knew. They're literally the worst.
Number 12, the New York Excelsior.
There's another ugly one. There we go. We're getting the pain out of the way here. Another really, really bad one. Back to back. The 2 worst teams in the league back to back. And I had them 13 and 12. The 2 worst teams.
I want to believe that this is New York's year, like so bad. Their DPS line just gets you so hyped. You gotta love Yaki and Flora. That's a superstar duo if they click.
I mean, no. Flora, for the most part, wasn't that great. Yaki wasn't even that great either at times.
And in a situation where DPS is very critical, that could mean that they carry their team on a regular basis. Honestly,
they
though,
tried.
Even from a general standpoint, the NYXL just have some ridiculous mechanical talent. This team...
I mean, I think that part is true, They did have a decent bit of talent on paper. They had, Kellen at the time had a lot of high praise. He didn't really get the support he needed, but he was praised pretty highly in contenders. Flora was coming off a great year. We still thought pretty highly of Yaki. Gangnam Jin, I think a lot of people liked him as well. It just didn't work out.
The team seems very promising on the surface. However, recent events have me reconsidering.
And I should have reconsidered even harder.
Pick up a Vulcan who isn't even Korean just makes me feel so weird. It's no disrespect to Vulcan, he's genuinely a good player. On this team though, yeah, he feels kind of out of place. Communication is going to be awkward for sure, and seeing as the tank usually does a lot of the shot calling, that makes it especially weird.
Yeah, I mean, this didn't even end up coming into fruition. He never played, unsurprisingly.
All this signing does is make me wonder if Kellen is good enough. My assumption is that the NYXL were having some trouble during scrims, but they didn't want to risk signing somebody who needed time to get their visa approved.
Maybe.
As a result, they're in a very weird spot. And if that wasn't enough, there's question marks on that support line for sure. Can we really expect Gangnam Jin and or Myungbong to play main support at an adequate level?
The answer to this is a hard no.
It's hard to say. They're both incredible players, so maybe there is a chance they figure it out. but the lack of confirmation is a serious problem. If that wasn't enough, here in the early stages of the year, apparently their synergy is kind of divided, which has led to some disappointing results. All of these factors combined keep me from having the maximum confidence in a team that could honestly be really good. I think they could get better as time goes on at least, though. They were a bit late to arrive in North America, I believe, and their potential is through the roof. New York could be excellent, and I recognize their talent.
Excellent is very much of a stretch. But yeah, the fact that I had two awful picks back-to-back like this makes me want to throw up. You know, 13 and 12 or whatever it was, back-to-back, and these are the worst two teams in OWL 2022. Like, yikes, man, yikes. Like, that's a huge difference. Like, we're talking 10-plus spots for both of them.
But right now, all the rumors state that they're kind of in a weak position. I'm expecting a decent year out of this crew when it's all said and done, but until further notice, they are not a supreme threat.
Yeah, they weren't a supreme threat, and that goes for the whole year, not just the beginning of the year.
Number 11, the Washington Justice.
Okay. So, Justice were middle of the pack, so I don't think this was the most awful thing. I just placed them a little too high. Because they finished above 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 6 teams, give or take. So they were pretty middle of the pack, just a little too high. They're 13th, yeah, so not the worst in the world. I think I maybe put a bit too much faith in Decay. That was like my one issue.
I've got to admit that I'm a little disappointed. After a year that was largely a letdown, they failed to make a lot of meaningful upgrades.
That's true.
Now, of course, with this being a new game and all, there's a chance they do a lot better. Somebody like Decay could run rampant in a new game where he's more enabled than ever before. When looking at the big picture, though, the Justice fall flat. Their support line did not get enough attention. Vigilante, I think that he could be noticeably better than Bebe.
Which he was.
The problem is, he isn't turning 18 until 2 months after the start of...
Also, even though he was noticeably better than Bebe, it was on the land terrain, not really Washington. Yeah, also to my credit, you're kind of right, chat. Washington did kind of explode before the season even ended, so, I mean, there's no way I could really know that.
This year, which leaves the Justice in a weird spot with Krillin and Opener, who both leave a lot to be desired.
Which was
if
true.
That wasn't enough. There's no telling if Happy and Assassin will be consistent enough to give Decay the proper backup he needs.
I mean, Happy was pretty good. I'd say Happy was the most consistent he's ever been this year. So, definitely wrong on that end. And Assassin wasn't the worst either when he played a little bit.
At the very least, Mag and Kalios are pieces who could definitely hold their own alongside Decay. The only problem is, only one of them can play at once, you know?
And Kalios wasn't even that good when he got to play.
That sucks. While I do think the team will get better after Vigilante becomes eligible, by then it might already be too late.
It was too late, but not in the way I knew.
Let's say the best case scenario happens. Well, yeah, in that case the Justice could be very respectable. In the end, though, I still don't view them much higher than I did by the end of last year.
Yeah, Kalios is on Boston.
Off the top half of the
okay, here we go, number 10.
Is the Toronto Defiant. It's a new year.
It's not that bad. I mean, Toronto's not that bad. They're like just out of the top 10, I think. Right? I think they're like 11th place, I want to say. Or maybe 12th, something like that. This wasn't that bad. Welcome, Minnie. Welcome to the stream. I thought it was pretty fair to place them 10th, knowing that they're always mid. I think I may have rated them a bit too high based off of what I heard in scrim results. Maybe I would have placed them like a spot or two lower had I, you know, not been that crazy. But not a horrible placement.
Here, ladies and gentlemen, and you know what that means, don't you? It's time for Toronto to make a new roster again. Yay! Woohoo! Is
still a tradition.
That they finally do something, though?
Not really.
In theory, this could end up being their best roster of all time.
And I think so far it kind of has been. We'll see what happens next year. But as of right now, this was their best roster of all time.
Main reason I'm stating this is due to the obvious strength at support. Twilight and Charong could be one of the best backlines right from day one.
And they were pretty good.
Twilight has been one of the best in the game for years now, and Charong, he's one of the top rookies in his class. If these two figure it out, the Defiant could be scary. The only problem is, it's hard to say if the rest of their roster holds up outside of Hisu.
And I mean, some of those pieces were a little weird outside of Hisu. Like, the backline did fine, but Muse wasn't that great. I think the finale, although flex DPS situation was also a little weird, which is why I was skeptical about them at the time. So yeah.
For starters, their other DPS don't look amazing, and one is currently having visa issues, which means that Toronto feels pretty stuck here.
Yep.
At tank, Hoppa could go either way, and Muse, while he could be good, still has a little bit to prove before you feel 100% confident in him.
And he wasn't able to prove himself, and Hoppa was actually surprisingly decent. He was way better than I expected. He was somewhat reliable, I'd say, overall.
On paper, this team doesn't feel extremely special, but the thing is, they're apparently doing quite well right now in scrims.
Like I was saying before.
Like, they could possibly end up being top 5 in NA if they continue to play this way.
And they most certainly were not. They were top 8 NA. Had the same amount of points as Florida, but worse because of map differential.
These rumors, along with my confidence in the backline, are ultimately why I rate the Toronto Defiant as high as I do. However, when you compare them to like the top-of-the-line rosters, they clearly do come up short no matter what.
That's for sure.
They needed another big piece or two to seriously break the mold. With that DPS and tank line, it's going to be hard to see them winning a tournament or going on a deep playoff run.
The fact that they did well in one tournament, though, kind of surprised us.
They're good, but not so much great. Number 9. The Chengdu Hunters.
Yeah, okay. Context. This was before they got rid of Yveltal, as well as like a couple of other guys. I think Farway as well. This is when the rumor was just that a lot of their guys were going to be on the bench full time since they're looking to sell them. So I still thought they'd be okay. You know, maybe they'd figure it out. But then they lost a bunch of people. They lost to Prita as well. It was like 3 or 4 players, right? This was right before it happened. Like, I think I made this rankings like maybe like a week before that Chengdu news came out of like their, not their transfers, but their releases. So it's pretty rough. Pretty rough.
What an interesting predicament this team is in. If you weren't aware, their parent company is in a tough spot. They're down bad.
Yeah, they were down so bad that I probably didn't do it justice with this placement.
Like really, really bad. From Valentine's Day until the present, they're down a staggering 86%. As a result, the Hunters have been scrambling to clear up money and are likely dealing with a minimal lineup. While it's unclear who goes and who stays, this obviously is going to suck if you're the Chengdu Hunters.
This was an understatement. They literally had like one backup.
According to Halo of Thoughts of Dexerto, it has already been confirmed that both Yveltal and Aprita will be benched as the Hunters find a way to clear their contracts off the books. That immediately puts this team in a rough spot as they're losing out on a ton of star power and flexibility. If there's any good news for Chengdu fans, it's that Leaf will be staying for the upcoming year. But now the Hunters have a weaker overall team to give him less resources, which...
Okay, yeah, I think maybe I put too much trust in Leaf to just carry the rest of the team when that just wasn't going to happen, to be honest with you. I was so stoked about how he played in 2021.
Which means that Leaf is going to have to put the team on his back even more than last year,
and he just
which is clearly a problem. I originally had the Hunters as my number 2 team in APAC and top 5 overall in the league. I can't say that anymore, though. They could still be respectable, but even right now, as I'm making this video, I still have thoughts that I'm probably overrating them, but I can't...
Yeah, I mean, you were right past ATP. You most certainly were overrating them because they were second to last in APAC, and they only amassed 9 points on the year, which is only better than 4 other teams in the league. So yeah, definitely... could have done even better with ranking them. I was on the fence and I should have listened to my gut.
Can't resist since they still do have Leave and everything. But here's how I see it. Jinmu's the full-time starter in a new game could be tough, as while Genji is looking to be strong, I don't really know if he's going to be consistently reliable depending on the meta.
This was true.
Support also appears to be a pretty confusing mess, which only makes the situation even more bizarre.
Yeah, I think losing out on Yveltal, now known as Zerny, has hurt them a lot. He was definitely their better main support player, without a doubt.
Chengdu could have been so much more. It's such a sad sight to behold. Welp, at this point, there's only one thing left to say. Welcome back to the Chengdu zone. Moving on to the number 8 spot, I have the Philly Fusion. This...
Oh, man, I could have done better here. 8th isn't horrible, though, luckily. Because at 15 points, they were kind of right there with a lot of teams, you know?
Team feels like the classic example of a good but not great roster.
Rep Fusion,
Overall,
by the way.
The Fusion are somewhat likable. Their revamped DPS line could take them a long way in Overwatch 2. The mechanical talent of NM3, Carpe, and Zest could lead to a
Side note, I just said NM3 instead of MN3. Nice.
lot of crazy moments. The tank line also seems to be in pretty decent shape, seeing as Philly recently got a second option to make them feel pretty well-rounded here. However, I'm a little unsure of how things go at support ultimately. It's true that this position is generally less valuable as it currently stands, but if you compare them to some of the top-level backlines in the league, they clearly fall short. At a playoff level and during big situations where they might have to clutch up, my trust in them is pretty minimal.
Yeah, Rip Diffusion, by the way, now known as Infernal, but I think that was pretty true. Fixa and Aim God were definitely like a weaker aspect of this team. I also maybe underestimated the inconsistency of Tank. Fury definitely took a step in the wrong direction. Abel's Rhea had his moments, but pretty inconsistent. It felt like it was Zest and MN3 or bust a lot of the time, and maybe I didn't quite see that coming.
It may not be a huge problem during the regular season at least, seeing as APAC feels pretty wide open outside of Shanghai, which is why I'm kind of convinced that Philly could still have a decent year, but not an amazing one.
And I think that was pretty true. I mean, they went to a tournament finals. They got a top 4 finish in midseason madness. They made playoffs. They were good, but not great. I think that's pretty accurate.
My expectations aren't high, but they're not exactly low either. Number 7. The Houston Outlaws.
Honestly, I'm pretty proud of this. 7th ain't that bad for Houston. Like, they were right around that spot. I mean, they're, what, like 6th, I want to say? 6th place? So, pretty good. Some people were maybe a little low on Houston, because at the time, we didn't know Dante was going to be their tank. And Piggy was their lone tank at the time. So there was a bit of concern there, but I was pretty excited about Houston. I'm glad that they actually did something.
This is a team that could go either way. They more than have the talent to go far. In terms of their talent, they boast one of the strongest DPS lines in the league, especially if Merit develops into a solid hit scan.
Which he most certainly did. It's just Dante didn't play DPS like I thought. That was the only real difference.
And if Piggy picks up where he left off in his rookie year...
Shouldn't rankings go off playoffs, not regular season? No, I did these power rankings based off of regular season standings. I don't think it's fair to do it off of playoffs. I don't think it makes any sense. Because that's not how you ever do it in traditional sports. Then that's kind of how I look at it. Regular season standings for me. I don't care about playoff finish.
Houston could be gross on just about every major place. The only problem is, there's a lot we don't know still. First of all, we have no idea how Piggy does as the only tank on his team.
Welp, he wouldn't stay on there for long, and Dante would be their tank, which, I mean, no one saw coming.
And we also don't know if Merit is going to pan out the way that Houston hopes he does. But most importantly, their support line is very confusing. The idea of either Iris or Lastro playing main support hurts my brain. With Lucio appearing to be one of the strongest supports in Overwatch 2, that could be an issue. Houston have a high ceiling, but they may not reach it due to not having the right meta coming their way.
And I mean, they're pretty flexible. I was kind of incorrect in that regard. Lastro proved to me that he could be a decent main support at the Overwatch League level. His Lucio could have been better, but it certainly wasn't the worst. His Brigitte was pretty strong. I think Lastro did a fine job given the circumstances.
It should still be noted, though, that Houston should be pretty good this year no matter what. This team is very capable of going on a run, concerns or not. Number 6, the Atlanta Reign. Okay,
hold, pause. Houston were pretty capable of going on a run, but even more so than I thought. This is where I'm like a little upset with myself, though. This is, again, me trusting in the scrim bucks too much. I heard Atlanta were doing really, really good in scrims. And, you know, the year before, I decided not to trust in scrim rumors. Atlanta did good in scrims, and then they made grand finals the year before. So I'm like, maybe I should listen to them for once. And I very much regret it. Because while they were top 10... they most certainly were not closer to the top half. They were 7th place overall, which isn't the worst, but it doesn't feel like they should be ranked this high at all.
Technically, I did not project the Reign to finish this high in the standings during my team preview video, but I've kind of had a change of heart because
which I shouldn't
to the Hunter
have.
situation and the Reign supposedly performing well in scrims, I'm ready to once again think of them as one of the better teams in NA. Even through the loss of Pelican, they still seem to be holding their own. Kai seems to be adjusting well, as he's playing more at that superstar level we saw from him in 2020.
He was, but then he kind of fell off a little in the second half of the season.
And when you combine his efforts with Hawk, who's still playing well apparently, a promising new support line who are also playing well, and some interesting rookies at DPS...
Yeah, essentially I had Houston and Atlanta swapped. Yeah, it's a good way of saying it.
Atlanta appear to have a pretty competitive team. I kind of learned my lesson with this franchise after last year. If they're doing good in scrims, I should probably take them seriously. And what's scary is, they can reasonably only keep on getting better as their rookies continue to develop, and when Speedily turns 18 later this year.
I think my issue is it felt like in the second half of the year, they didn't feel like that team that they're projected to be. That's kind of why I feel like this ranking is worse than it should be, even though I only missed by 1. Because in the first half, they showed so much potential with 2 really good high tournament finishes. And then after that, we kind of just stopped talking about them for the most part. And then they flopped in the playoffs, and that was it.
I still don't know if I'm ready to consider them a top 3 team in NA again, but they're certainly a threat to everybody around them.
They kind of were in the first half, at least.
We have none other than the San Francisco Shock. Even through...
I mean, I ended up not doing too good with this, which is weird to say because I thought putting them top 5 was pretty optimistic at the time, but they did even better. Like, wow. I was like trying to be optimistic but also cautious with the Shock because like they were young, it was a brand new team, maybe they might not be like top 3 in the league, that might be a stretch even with Proper, they're mixed, might not be the greatest, they might be trying to look towards the future, maybe a tournament, or not a tournament push, a championship push wasn't in their future just yet, but I was wrong. They showed that even though they rebuilt from the ground up and had a new core, they were fine because they had Proper.
Through all of the ridiculous changes they made, San Francisco still have managed to stay relevant.
That's true.
Their new roster is full of young and exciting talent who could turn out to be superstars.
That was an understatement because of what Proper did.
They literally have Violet, plus multiple Rookie of the Year level players, if not MVP level.
Well, Proper was MVP level, so I was right on that end.
Is likely to instantly live up to the hype.
He did.
Scrim results indicate he is as good as everybody thought, which means the Shock could have a brand new superstar right off the bat.
True.
And I mean, that's just at least one. That's not including Violet or somebody like Finn or Kilo, who could also be really good. This team has all the carry potential in the world.
Well, it was mostly Proper, just calling it how it is.
Drawback is, they're very young. There might be some...
Yeah, see, this is what I mean. They're young and still, I guess, slightly unproven at this level, so I was trying to be cautious. I kind of wish I didn't be cautious. But, I mean, top 5 couldn't be that bad, you know? That still means they're top tier in most people's eyes if you have them top 5, so could be worse.
Learning moments they need to undergo this year that ultimately keeps them from winning the chip. Supposedly, the Shock are still one of the best teams in the league.
Which
but
they
it's
were.
Better to be cautious than to go all in with such a young group. If this team is going to go far, the meta also might need to go in their favor.
That didn't really matter, to be honest. They were just good consistently, and they got better over time.
Violet, I mean, you have to remember that he's on main support this year and is still unproven.
This was another concern I completely forgot to bring up. I had no idea how Violet would do at main support. I was really, really worried, and that maybe kind of held me back a little from putting them as high as they rightfully deserved in the end.
There's no telling how things go at tank without Super and Smurf there to lead the charge. However, if these potential worries turn out to be nothing, the sky is the limit.
Yeah, that was pretty true. Those concerns weren't a problem, and the sky literally was the limit, and they were just one map away from winning Grand Finals. So in that aspect, good job, ATP. Just your placement was a little off.
Promise you, the Shock are someone you need to monitor because they're not going anywhere anytime soon. Number 4, the Seoul Dynasty. I like Seoul quite a bit this year. It's up for debate if they're actually the 4th best team or not.
Accurate prediction. Because I'm pretty sure they were 4th overall in the playoffs. Well, not like playoff finish, I mean playoff seeding at the start. So hey, we take those, boys. We take those. Pretty accurate pred.
But I fully expect their record to be within this range when it's all said and done. Every team except for one feel pretty beatable for them over an APAC. They might have a small roster, but they're packing some serious heat.
Yep.
Tank and DPS both feel very nice.
Their
success might be a little meta-dependent, but I suspect that Seoul are going to show good consistency across the year. The idea of Fitz and Profit potentially being even better than last year, along with a few new...
Oh yeah, technically they were third place overall in the standings, but I remember for whatever reason in the playoffs, they had the Seoul Dynasty as the 4 seed instead of the 3 seed, and it was really, really weird. Because the Glads, I remember, picked a team before them. It was really strange. But yeah, regardless, this was still a pretty accurate prediction. It's one off, so I'll take that.
Newcomers gives me hope that the Dynasty are going to stick around come playoff time. However, please do keep in mind that there might be some question marks surrounding their ability to compete for a championship.
Which was true in the end.
They have a lot of star power going on, but they aren't as loaded as they could be. The questions at support, especially with creative, as well as how Smurf does on characters outside of his comfort zone, does kind of keep me from putting them in that 100% confident range.
I mean, to be honest with you, the meta wasn't the problem, and they literally traded creative for Iris, who I thought was, pretty good. And Smurf ended up being arguably, like, the most flexible tank in the game. So that clearly wasn't a problem either. My man absolutely popped off and was like a top 2 tank in most people's eyes. Some people say number 1. So those concerns were just non-existent. Vindame played well. The support line did good. Profit was good. They just couldn't finish when it mattered. That's all.
I gotta say though, if these are the only concerns you're actively dealing with, maybe alongside some coaching things, it's safe to say that you're in pretty good shape.
Which they were.
The Dynasty look good. Are they good enough to win a championship this year? I'm not entirely certain.
They weren't.
Something I can promise you though is they're going to be competitive without a shadow of a doubt.
And they were.
Moving on to the number 3 spot, you've got the LA Gladiators.
And again, pretty good. They literally were 3rd place overall. If we're going off of point total and map differential, they were 3rd. Or 4th, excuse me. Pretty spot on. Not 3rd, 4th. But 3rd, for whatever reason, in the playoffs, which again, I don't really understand. But maybe it's because they won 2 tournaments. I don't know. But 1 spot off, not bad.
This team has a shot of picking up exactly where they left off last year and then some. You could maybe argue their skill ceiling has decreased a little bit over the offseason, but they're still in drastically better shape than a majority of the league. The Gladiators are very, very well-rounded. The support line genuinely might be the best in the league.
And it was really, really good.
They can literally play any meta to absolute perfection, and even with no bird rank...
Okay, that wasn't true, though. They most certainly could not play every meta to perfection. What we saw in the Summer Showdown was an atrocity.
Their DPS line is scary good. Kevster genuinely might end up being the MVP of the league.
He was a nomination.
And you're giving him 2 freaks of nature as his partners in crime. That has some insane potential. The only questions maybe come at tank, since Space and Reiner maybe aren't as strong compared to some of the other top teams on paper, but it's doubtful that's going to stop them from being a solid competitor.
And Reiner was like even better than I expected him to be. I mean, he won a Roll Star. I didn't think that was going to happen at all. And if it weren't for Junker Queen meta, I think most people would have praised him as just a great tank the whole season, because that's what he mostly was.
I'm in love with the LA Gladiators' flexibility and star-studded roster. They're definitely a title favorite here. Number 2.
I mean, they're a title favorite until the playoffs hit where disaster struck. But in the first half of the season, I mean, they're the front runners. They won 2 tournaments. They're looking pretty darn good.
The Dallas Fuel.
I mean, 1 spot off. Dallas had the most points in the entire league, so... Well, tied for most with Shock, but they finished number 1 overall. It's not bad.
I'd say them and the Gladiators are fairly interchangeable as of right now, but I decided to go with the hot hand, so to speak. What ultimately makes Dallas so intimidating is they're basically the same team as last year, but with even greater flexibility. They literally made improvements to an already stacked roster with 3 simple signings. I mean, the only ones that possibly could have made them better, by addressing hit scan and main support with Edison, Grillo, and Chio. There's maybe some questions to be had if their hit scans can be superstar level, but there's a good chance the team is going to play well no matter how they do, because Dallas did just fine last year without a hit scan.
So the Creo part, obviously, he wasn't anything great. But Edison, he was a key piece in their championship run. And I was pretty high on Chio at the time. I know a lot of people love Jexay, but I always thought they could do better than Jexay. So I was really pumped when they got Chio as their new main support. So I think this was a pretty good take overall. Chio and Edison ended up being huge parts of their championship run.
If worst comes to worst, the coaching makes the necessary adjustments they need to keep on pushing forward. This team has already shown they are quite capable of fighting off adversity and finding ways to win through alternative means. And if Lucio Moira with dive tanks ends up being a thing, or we see a lot of Genji, forget about it.
I didn't even foresee the idea of like Hanbin dominating in metas that he was good in. That's just how scary they were. There were so many things they could be really, really good on.
I would be shocked if the Fuel do not stick around come playoff time. They are way too talented. And finally, to the surprise of absolutely no one, the Shanghai Dragons come in at my #1 spot.
Yeah. I usually have a habit of putting the defending champion as #1. So that's like the big reason why they make it here. But sadly, this is when they fell off. You know, their window closed. Usually it's that 2-year window where you're really good and then you drop. It happened with the Shock and it happened with them, but I thought they continue to be good. I had a lot of confidence in them and they kind of let me down. It's not the worst yikes of this video, but it's one of the more bad takes, I'd say. Seoul were the only team that were better in APAC. And then there are the Gladiators, Shock, and Fuel finished above them as well. So they were still a top 5 team. They still did have a good season and they won a tournament. It's just when the playoffs came, they were not that team we've grown accustomed to. And that was really the end. Their window closed. They had their 2 years, and that was it. Still good, though. Still good. And I think most people thought they were a contender throughout most of the year still. The most yikes part of the video is definitely New York or Paris.
They're the defending champs with the same high-level roster as last year, and it's pretty easy to make a case for them as #1.
Yeah, again, I'm really big on this idea of, you got to rank the defending champ high.
Shanghai arguably have one of the most well-rounded rosters in the entire league. And unlike a lot of their competition, there's very few concerns or question marks. You know what you're going to get out of every single starter.
Yep.
They literally have a superstar level player at every position.
The problem was, I think maybe part of the issue was Fleta. I didn't see such a big fall off with him coming, because he really did not look the same at all. Lip, while he managed to continue improving, Fleta just, he hit his wall, so to speak. And, maybe the tank situation was a little weird at times. Fate maybe wasn't quite as strong either. So things kind of went downhill. They didn't have the loaded status of the year before. There were some notable drop-offs.
A lot of these guys could easily be MVP level. The Dragons are going to be a championship favorite. I mean, in my opinion, they are the championship favorite.
Nope,
but I suppose that's a discussion for a different day. The Dragons are well equipped to deal with most, if not all, metas and strategies that get thrown their way. They're smart, dominant, and well coached. Having the top record in the league seems very likely yet again for them.
I mean, at least they still had a top 5 record, so I think if they're out of the top 5, this would look a lot worse.
Especially due to the fact that, in my opinion, they just play in the weaker overall region.
Which is
West
true,
has more threat
kind
to them,
of, you
so
know.
they're kind of in a really good spot. And unless a massive implosion ensues, the Dragons won't be going anywhere. Their reign of superiority is likely to continue. The Dragons are really good. I don't know what else to say. So there you go. Those are my overall power rankings for the 2022 season. I'll put a recap of the rankings on the screen right about
there
now.
You go. So, of these rankings, the absolute worst ones by far were London, Paris, and New York. I don't think anything even compares. These 3 were so drastically terrible, like it's not even funny. Because London, instead of being a bottom tier team, were literally top 6 in North America. Then you have New York and Paris, who are the 2 worst teams in all of Overwatch League. And then we also have Chengdu as another big-time shout-out. I mean, I placed them really, really high. I had them in my top 10, and they were the worst, second worst team in APAC record-wise. And only a couple of other teams had a worse amount of points overall, just the Valiant, Vancouver, New York, and Paris. So those were definitely my worst ones, I'd say. Not Vancouver. excuse me, London, Paris, New York, and Chengdu were all god-awful takes. I think the rest was pretty, like, okay. Like, there are some teams that are rated a bit too high, a bit too low. I think Florida could have been a bit better too, obviously, but not everyone had high expectations then. So maybe those 5, I guess, then. Florida, Paris, New York, London, Chengdu. Sounds about right. The rest of it was pretty okay. I mean, Spark too as well, so those 6. Aside from those guys, though, I think I did pretty okay. Like, you know, you could have moved Shock a bit higher, obviously, but still top 5. Shanghai could have been lower, but they're still pretty darn good. Houston was pretty accurate. Atlanta's pretty decent. Like, in terms of just overall standings, Boston too low. Actually, Boston was pretty good for the most part. I was only a couple of spots off with Boston Uprising. Not too terrible with them. Only, like, 5 other teams did worse, so really not bad at all. Yeah. Now, the more I look at it, the more I don't hate these rankings as much as I remember. But I think that I had this was probably the rankings where I had, like, the most atrocious, like, takes overall, like, the most of them in one ranking, because I had, like, 6 of them. And in previous videos, they haven't been as bad. Or, I guess, previous years of doing this. I'll take it, though, for what it is. I mean, considering I had no idea what to expect in a new game, I'll take it, you know? I went into this very, very blind, not knowing what was going to happen, and I'm also not an expert, and I've never claimed to be one, so I'll take having, like, 6 or 7 bad takes and the rest being pretty okay. Not bad considering nobody knows the future, and that I'm kind of an idiot. And here's what it looks like for West and East. It kind of looks worse this way, to be honest with you. Yeah, it looks a lot worse, because, like, these 3 should just be in these 4 should be in drastically different places. And then, you know, like, Hangzhou should be up, Chengdu should be down. Who is the Philadelphia Fusion? Oh, yeah. I don't know, man. It's true. They're called the Seoul Infernal now. GG's, though. Wasn't that bad. It's really cringy to look back at this, I won't lie. But I don't hate it as much as I remember. So I guess that's a somewhat good sign. I know I'm an idiot, you can roast me all you want, but at the end of the day, I had fun making this, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. I'm gonna stop the recording of the VOD, there we go. ATP, I've got a tough question. If either Dallas nor San Francisco won the finals, would the Shock be ranked number 2, or would it be Dallas? If neither of them won the final, so if you're saying some other team won it, I feel like Shock would be 2. Play ranked? Probably not. I mean, I could later, but not now. Next on the agenda, though, if you want to stick around, we're going with some off-season discussions now, because some news has happened that we can discuss since the previous news recap video. Let me just change to my other source here. Give me 1 second. I'll do a little of that. Bam, boom. Exit out of that like so. I guess we can start with the stuff that happened today. Yes, we have like a bit of a mini news recap. You guys get to see it first before it goes up on YouTube later this week. I know it's really early, but any thoughts so far with these half-built rosters? No, I think it's still too early. I don't really have any firm opinions aside from, like, you know, like Shock, Houston, you know, like Atlanta, you know, teams like that are looking good. Shock, Houston, or not Dallas. Shock, Houston, Atlanta are like really good. Boston. Outside of that, though, you have like a couple teams that are obviously not looking good, and then that's it. Anyway, though, first bit of news on the day. This came out recently. The Gladiators said that Reiner is officially off the team. We kind of knew this was coming because the rumor for a long time, we're talking like months, I think now, or over a month, is that Reiner's going to Toronto Defiant. to play with his buddies from American Tornado. We knew it was just a matter of time until the Glads made it official. It's unfortunate because he was a role star player for them, but what can you do? He wanted to leave, and that's all there is to it. It's really concerning for the Glads. Some people thought I was a little crazy for being worried about the Gladiators this offseason, but we're seeing it play out into fruition now where things are starting to go a bit downhill and their window is starting to close. They lost Shu and they lost Reiner. Those are two huge losses that are going to make a big-time difference. Any leaks about Bumper? No. I think those two moves alone are really terrifying if you're a Glads fan. You're going to have some pretty notable downgrades, I think. I mean, the rumor, however, though, is that Yaki's on his way to Glads. That's what I've heard from Twitter and what people were saying today in chat, which is cool, I guess. Some people are a little worried about how Kevster would do as a pure hit scan, since now all of a sudden Kai might be retiring. But I think he'll do all right. But in general, they're not going to... I don't think they're going to be top tier anymore. I don't think the Glads are going to be at that championship level anymore. I think their time has come, and we'll see them take a bit of a dip. They're not going to be an awful team, though. Oh, was he actually trolling? I thought he was trolling, but I wasn't sure. Regardless, though, I think Glads will be just decent. Bare minimum, I suspect that Dallas... The Shock, or not Dallas. Well, actually, yes, Dallas. I suspect that Dallas, the Shock, Houston, Atlanta, and Boston could all be better. We'll see, though. They could be better than Dallas, I guess, but I don't know. Who do I think makes the next big move? I don't really know. Didn't Dante go to the Mayhem? No, that was a troll. Till when does a team need to have at least 5 players? It's not till like March. It's a long ways off still. Ever going to do live interviews with players and coaches? I'd like to. We'll see. It's just kind of a pain when you don't really have any connections. I'll see what I can do. Maybe I'll start looking towards that in the future. The next big thing that happened today is Florida Mayhem picking up Chorong as well as Sana. I think that's how you pronounce it. Yeah, let me just get both up. The rumor is Kaluj and Sam will go to Toronto Defiant. What does the league even do if you don't have 5 players? So they just boot you out of the league? No, you have to. I mean, if you didn't, then you'd get in trouble, I'd assume. So, Florida Mayhem picked up Chorong, which is like the noteworthy thing, as well as Sana. And I've heard like mixed things. Some people say Sana was like maybe like the 3rd best flex DPS, I think I saw someone say in my Twitter mentions. And European contenders or whatever. But I have high hopes. He's 18 years old. According to management, he's kind of like the piece that... What's the word I'm looking for? He's the piece that kind of completes their DPS lineup, as in he kind of fills the missing holes of Merit and Checkmate, which is cool, I guess. He's probably going to be their Tracer player, I think, right? I mean, I don't know that much about him. We can always go to Wikipedia, I guess. I know he's Finnish, 18 years old. Here's a list of his results. Some of his recent stuff, you know, 3rd, 2nd. He's got a lot of high finishes here in tournaments, which is cool. He'll roll NA, mark my words. I'll hold you to that. Florida has shown big scouting in the recent years. This is definitely true. So that's one reason to maybe trust the pickup. The teams have to announce their signings or they can keep it a mystery. I mean, you have to announce them eventually, but you can kind of choose. Also, what are these ads popping up on my screen? Regardless, he most recently played on Young and Beautiful for a good bit of time, it would seem. He's also played on Shu's Money Crew, Ex Oblivione. You know, he's played on some notable European contenders teams, which is cool. He's a flex. I mean, I guess he could play Torb, but Genji and Tracer is always pretty cool. I wonder if he'll be kind of like what Venom was for Atlanta Reign. Kind of just a good player to have in the mix to round out your rotation, though, which is cool. I think New York is going to be undisputed last place team. Probably. Them or Paris. Or Paris. Vegas. God, I'm so not used to saying that. He plays hit scan in every flex DPS, but mostly flex. Gotcha. I'm excited to see what he can do, though. He seems like a good person just to have as like a backup plan in case the meta goes in interesting directions. The thing I'm more excited about, though, without a doubt, is Chorong coming to this team. I think this is just a fat pickup. Chorong is a really great player. You know, Toronto are inconsistent. He's also not going to have Twilight. You know, RuPaul's not as good as Twilight, but that's still a pretty good support line on paper. I don't know how they're going to do communication-wise and synergy-wise. It'll be a little interesting to see in that regard. But Chorong adds a lot of consistency and talent, which they were kind of missing at main support, if we're being honest with you, at times. Anima wasn't bad, but there were times where they didn't like his play style. They put Sir Machet on Lucio. Main support was a really weird place for Florida at times, and I think Chorong kind of solves a lot of those problems, and he can play Zen a little bit, so you can like maybe do some double flex support shenanigans if needed. I see Florida's announcement on their tank. It was a troll. Thoughts on Hisu to shock rumors? I like it. But yeah, Chorong has a lot of potential. It was only his rookie year, and he looked really good. So I'm excited to see what Florida can do with him. He's a young player that can still be molded a lot. They have good coaching. I'm liking what they're doing here. I like it a lot. I'm a fan. So part of this team feels misplaced. Sana on RuPaul feels weird because everyone else is Korean, but I have confidence they can figure it out. They're well coached. You see who's picking up Profit? No. Oh, who do you see picking up Profit? Excuse me. At this point, your guess is as good as mine. No Hill might be going to Toronto. Yeah, I heard. Yeah, I really don't know where Profit's going, just being honest with you guys. At this point, it's very, very messy. Like, you just have to think about it logically. Dallas just got Sparkle back, so would Profit really go to Dallas? I don't really know. Glads are supposedly getting Yaki, so if that comes true, they have Yaki Kevsters. Profit's not going to go there. Shock, no shot. Houston, I mean, it could, but I'm probably not. Considering they have Pelican, I don't think that would happen. Atlanta Reign, probably not. They just spend a ton of money. London, definitely not. Florida, no. Defiant, no. Washington, maybe? I don't really think so, though. I feel like Profit wants to win, and he's not going to win on Washington. If he went to Boston, that'd be hella weird, considering how much they already have on that roster. It'd really feel like 2018 London if Profit went to Boston. I'm just being honest with you. Has Profit come out and said that he still wants to play? Yes. Yeah, if Boston bagged him, it'd feel like 2018 Spitfire Stage 1 all over again, where it's too much of a good thing. Anyone remember that team when they had Rascal, Profit, and Birdring? It's like, what the heck do you even play? Vancouver? Nah. New York and Paris. Well, Vegas now. No way. Is there a world where he could go back to Seoul? Yes. I don't think so, because why the heck would he leave just to come back when they mutually agreed to leave each other? You never know, I guess. I mean, it's not like he left in free agency. They terminated his contract and he left. It'd be weird if he went back to Seoul, but it could happen, supposedly. Shanghai? Maybe? I mean, the problem is the NetEast thing. How much money does Shanghai have? They still have Moon, which is cool. But I don't know if they really have the money to bring in Profit. Infernal / Philly / Soul 2 / Budget Souls / New Philly, whatever you want to call them, could be an option. Him and Zest are similar players, but Profit ain't a bad player to have. Spark, they're going to go Chinese from what I heard, so that's out. I had heard that Shanghai's actually going Korean. We'll see, though. Guangzhou Charge is an interesting one. Especially if they don't get Choi Se-wan back, I could see Profit maybe going there, I guess. Chengdu, no shot. Valiant, no. We're just, no. Not gonna happen. I think if Shanghai go Korean, it would make sense, maybe, if they have the money. Profit's in just an awkward spot, just being honest. Where could Dante go? I'd love him on Gladiators. I feel like Gladiators would be a cool Dante landing. I wouldn't mind him going to Toronto, but I mean, the roster is supposedly already assembled, so yeah. Choi Se-wan's like one of my dream pickups for Fuel to round out the DPS line. Yeah, I mean, Profit just wants to win. Will the stream stay up? Indeed it will. Alright, so there goes your Florida news. We also had Dallas coming out. Oh, cool Butterfingers, bro. We had Dallas coming out and announcing or re-announcing Hanbin and Edison, which is cool, as well as Sparkle. They got Coach Rush back, which is always great. And then they got some new players. They got MCD and Bliss. That's the major noteworthy thing in this situation. Bliss and MCD is the new support line for Dallas Fuel, which, I mean, is obviously a downgrade compared to Fielder and Chio, who are arguably the best backline in 2022. It could be worse, though. It definitely could be worse. Hey, Thor, thank you for the 2. Check DMs, I got you. I think Bliss is a solid pickup for Dallas. He's not Chio, but Bliss has a lot of promise, and he's probably one of the more hyped up main support prospects. He comes out of O2 Blast. I like Bliss. I think he'll do fine. He's no Chio, so make sure to not have too high of expectations for the guy. Not bad, though. Downgrade for sure, but not horrible. And MCD, though, that's where I think there's more of a concern. Again, MCD's not a bad player, but compared to what you had with Fielder, it's like, oh, that's such a gut punch, man. That is such a gut punch. All right, Thor has a bit of a graphic for us. Shout out to Thor, he made this. Oh, yeah. Maybe I'll just take myself off the screen for a second. There's the dono. Thank you again, Thor, for the 2.
Yo, check DMs.
Okay, so this is what Thor has for us. This is just a summary of the power rankings. Just so you can get a look-see of what it looks like compared to where teams actually finish in the standings compared to my rankings. Which is pretty cool. We have 3 +7s. I think you meant a +6 there, Thor. I get what you mean. Not a -6, +6, but it's all good. This is a pretty cool summary for those of you who might have missed it. If you're just coming into the stream now. We got one team completely right, chat. Vancouver, 0. We got it perfectly right. And we had a couple of 1s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 1s. That's not bad. Had a handful of 2s. I think the 2s, the 1s, that's I'm pretty happy with. Thank you again, Thor, for making this, though. I appreciate you, my guy. Back to what we were talking about, though. MCD going to Dallas Fuel is so weird. Or maybe it is a minus. I don't know. Whatever. Regardless. Oh, the man was... Alright. Whatever. Maybe I was just confused. MCD to Dallas Fuel, though, I do not love. I appreciate that he has former synergy with Sparkle and Hanbin, and, you know, he was under Rush previously, which is pretty neat. Element Mystic synergy. But just skill-wise, he just doesn't have that same ceiling as Fielder. MCD is a talented player mechanically, for sure. But am I expecting him to be out of this world and to be like a S tier flex support? No way. And just because of that alone, you know, Dallas are going to go down. When you're number one, you have nowhere to go but down. So going from Chio Fielder to MCD Bliss is just a downgrade no matter how you look at it. They're going to have to prove themselves. Because what those guys did last year was absolutely insane. Did I check the transfers on Wikipedia? I will after. Is the synergy worth it? Yeah, that is the big question. I don't know how I feel, though. Dallas are still a good team overall. Like, they still have Hanbin, Sparkle, Edison, which is great. And then Bliss MCD isn't bad. So it's not like Dallas are a bad team. It's just they're not going to be like that top 2 or 3 team necessarily. They have some stuff to prove. Like, that support line's really got to pop off if they want to make it and be able to compete for another title. It's cool they have their coaching still, though. Having Rush back is always great. And I'm sure that, you know, him, Sparkle, and Hanbin all wanted to be together, so they decided to go back to Dallas. I still like Dallas, though, overall. They're not a bad team. It's just a lot of teams made some notable upgrades that make you not think of them as the championship type of team anymore. Did Violet leave Shock? There's nothing official yet, but I think it can be assumed. Who could the Fuel sign as a main tank? I'm not too sure. I mean, it's going to probably be probably more of a budget signing, I'd assume. Humpin is excellent, though. He'll still be fine. Top 3 right now for me is definitely Shock, and then you can maybe put like Atlanta and Boston or maybe Houston. Hop out of Fuel? I mean, I don't think that'd make that much sense. Him and Hanbin's hero pools are too similar. Speaking of Boston Uprising, they are next on the agenda because they decide to pick up, well, Kalios isn't that significant, but Twilight, which is just absolutely insane to me. They freaking got another superstar level player. I just don't understand. Like, this was so out of nowhere. I'm gonna head out for the time being. All right, Thor, sounds good. This was just so shocking to me. I thought Twilight was maybe done with being in a rotational basis. I thought he would want to be a starter somewhere from now on in his career. But he got a taste of being a starter on Toronto again, and he's like, nah, I want to play for someone who wants to win. This dude just wants to win championships right now. He'll sacrifice playtime if it means he gets to be in that situation, I think, which is cool. Izyaki's at his level, and also Izayaki has the advantage with synergy with Lee Jae gone. So I don't know exactly what Twilight's role will be. And obviously in a double flex support meta, this team will be stacked on paper. They'll be really, really good. It just depends on the meta, I think. And maybe in an Ana heavy meta, you might want to play Twilight, but Izayaki's got a pretty good Ana as well. But on the other hand, Twilight does have the synergy with Striker and Smurf. I think that is something that you have to remember. So that could play a role in start time. Depending on meta, like if it's like dive-centric, let's say, you definitely want to have the Twilight Ana plus the Striker Tracer and the Smurf Winston. I think that makes a lot of sense. But aside from that, I probably would just play Izayaki since he has the synergy with Lee Jae gone. What I think of the Florida signings, I went over them just a few moments ago, and I'm a pretty big fan. Boston acquired Twilight so no one else could. Ah, yes, 5-head. Hot take, at least 2 Boston players will leave before the first tournament. Oh yeah, that's true also. I guess in a double main support meta, you could play Twilight. Twilight does offer a lot of versatility. I just don't know how much he's going to start. Like, I don't know what the split will be between him and Izayaki. Well, I guess we'll see. Yes, this is true, Arcane. But also there's Kalios, which I feel very weird about, by the way. Also, I need to refollow Kalios. Kalios is just, I don't I don't know how much sense it really makes to get him. I think it's cool that you don't have to put off the pressure on Smurf, but with how Smurf played last year, literally in every single meta, my man has shown that he can just be your ultimate flex and that you don't need any other tanks. So now I'm kind of just like, I don't know, man. Smurf showed that he could play a really good Zarya and like just off tank in general. Outside of like a diva meta, I fail to see how Kalios really comes in of any use. Maybe that's just me. Maybe Smurf regresses, or like there's a reason you'd play Kalios. Maybe synergy with Decay. I don't know exactly. But he just feels like a really weird fit and unnecessary on the surface. I really think Smurf was good on just about everything, to be honest with you. It's good to have a backup, though, I suppose. I actually like Smurf Sig. I guess you could play Diva Sig Kalios if you wanted to, but I just think Smurf is really, really good. Maybe Kalios has the best Ramattra in the league, maybe. Yeah, but definitely in a Diva meta, I could see Kalios playing. And there might be other reasons to play him. I mean, you could also, in theory, have Smurf focus more on the stuff that he's already really good at. That could make things a bit better for him. But Kalios is a little inconsistent at times, so I don't know. But on a better team, maybe he'll pop off. Kalios has never played on a team this good before, so I've got to give him a shot. Yeah, Boston have so much championship experience. Kalios and Decay are the only guys who haven't won anything on that team. I saw someone say, what were the Florida signings? They signed Chorong and Sana, flex DPS from Finland. That is what Florida did. So now Boston look even more complete and are even more versatile. That's one thing I gotta say with the Twilight signing. Even though it's strange, it gives them more versatility. And if you're going for a title, all the little moves really count. This is the kind of stuff that puts you above and beyond. So I don't hate it at all, you know? It seems like they're overly stacked, but I think it's perfectly acceptable to make this type of move. Gladiators tweeted. I know they made the Reiner thing, but if they just make something new? No, never mind. Okay, cool. Hangzhou Spark are going to be the last thing that happened recently in the news, I think. They decided to part ways with Pineapple and Super Rich, which I wasn't exactly expecting, because, you know, there are rumors they're going fully Chinese. It makes sense to keep these guys. Pineapple in particular, I thought was pretty decent when he played. Good-looking Tracer. I would have kept him, personally. Super Rich, I maybe understand a bit more. He was kind of just okay. You could probably upgrade. But I still thought they'd both get kept. Because now their team is, what, just... What is it? They have Gushue and Shy. And that's it. Their team is just Gushue and Shy right now. You think Doha will find a new team? I sure hope so. Bark have their work cut out for them this offseason. The rumors they're getting RUI, former coach of Chengdu, plus Leave. We'll see, though. But I don't really know what else they'll do. So Leave Shy is cool with Gushue, but where else do they go from there? I don't know, man. Spark are a pretty major mystery in the making. Where did the rumor they're getting Leave come from? From Halo of Thoughts on Twitter. Are there any decent reporters? I mean, decent reporter? I mean, I don't know if I'd use that word, but like the popular one right now, there's Leak Mafia, and, you know, I always like to rely on Yiska. Yiska is pretty reliable. He doesn't do a lot of leaks, but he did leak when Atlanta were supposed to get Chio and Fielder, which is pretty cool. A lot of people have been talking about Leak Mafia, yeah. Yiska's accurate, but doesn't leak a lot. Halo doesn't report as much. You kind of just take what you can get, to be honest with you. I think Sparker goes back to London, personally. But what Spark do from here, though, I do not know. I wouldn't mind seeing Spark get Xerneas so they could get their hands on him. That'd be pretty sweet. Yes, Maddie. Boston got Twilight and Kalios. I'm still expecting them to be a fully Chinese roster, the Spark. Because that's what the rumor is. And it makes a lot of sense. They've been slowly but surely evolving from more Korean to more Chinese as the years have gone on. So I fully expect that to be the case. Especially if they end up getting RUI, it's just a done deal to me. Wouldn't be surprised if Super Rich went to Houston because of Neko. I don't think so. Yeah, that's like the one like possibility, I guess, because, you know, Chinese teams aren't going to be able to play out of China. Maybe that influences the Sparks' decision-making a little bit. But if they got Leave, I'd be happy. As long as they have Leave, Shai, Gushui, I'd be pretty stoked if I was a Spark fan. Who will be Houston's main support, do you think? It's a great question. I'm not too sure myself. I heard Skewed is coming to the team, but I mean, he's just a break player mostly, so we shall see. Do we know what will happen to the APAC region? No plans really yet are official. Sanguinar, maybe? Yeah, maybe. ATP's gonna sign with Houston to play Lucio. Gonna leak it now. Oh yeah, is that so? Yeah, that's part of the problem with Houston, I feel like. A lot of the good main support prospects are off the board. Violet, if he still wants to play, I mean, that'd be pretty cool. Rumors Kookie's playing main support. Nice. Okay, nothing new. It doesn't look like. Nope, nope, nope. Someone said before I look up transfers. Can I type? Transfers. Yeah, so we're all caught up, I believe. Coach Moon's back on Shanghai. We talked about that. Kind of touched base on everything else, I think. Looks good here. Aid left Dallas. This team called Philly Fusion is gone now, whoever those guys are. Who's Chengdu even going to sign if they lose Leave? I don't know how much money they really have. Chengdu are kind of down in the dumps, to be honest with you. I think Toronto will announce something at 6 since Reiner just got dropped from Glads. I don't know about that. Show some rumors, please. Sure. There's a lot of... Okay, there's a lot more than I remember on here. Oh my god. Wow. So Yaki to Glads, we had talked about Haley to NYXL, because NYXL, oh, that's something I forgot to mention. The rumors, once again, they are going to stick with their plan of doing a at least partial marginalized gender roster, to the anger of many fans because they're being set up to fail, which sucks. Feel bad for those players and wish them the best of luck. Haley comes from, I don't even know what team this is, oh dear lord. Altoria? I mean, they're 4th in North American contenders, if that means anything. Main support player. Oh, it's Halo. Oh my god, it's Halo from 2020 Boston. That's who it is. Name change. Oh my god. Yeah, Sheena, I forgot. Halo came out. Forgot about that. Wow. Cool. So Halo's back in the league, I guess, then maybe. Lee Soo Min to Seoul. I don't know who this is, to be honest. Who's Lee Soo Min? Played for... Oh, yeah, this team's been kind of on the rise. In Priza. Support player, flex support, looks like. It's kind of a bummer to not have Twilight, but there's a lot of good prospects from this team, which is dope. Hisu to Shock is also a big rumor, which I hope comes true. That'd be nasty. Hisu having that kind of help is horrifying, to be honest with you. I just hope that he can still have a good spotlight despite playing with Proper. Apparently this rumor is likely, or the confidence is likely. No Hill to Toronto would just be hilarious to me. I hope it happens. Unlikely, Kufa to NYXL. Unlikely, Renko to NYXL. Potentially Mirror to Washington Justice. I sure hope not Phantom. Lethal to London Spitfire. This is one I've heard people talking about a lot. Lethal. People have pretty high praise for him, hit scan player. What would that mean for Sparker, though? I don't know. Could be both of them on the same team, I suppose. I was really hoping for a Shockwave to London thing, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Then there's the whole Washington thing, people that they trialed. Eurus Alpha Fitz Vestola, I heard, what was it, like Ben Best as well, and FD God? I don't know where those are at, but I remember, oh, here they are, down here. Washington would be really weird if they had that kind of team. FD God, Ben Best, then you just have Eurus Alpha and Fitz. Like, huh? I feel bad for McGravy. Me too. It's a shame. For those who don't know, McGravy's brother passed away recently. Really sad. Can you explain the NYXL situation? Yeah. Let me pull up. It's a good thing to do is to pull up Liz's article, because she covered this and it's really good. Okay, so multiple sources have confirmed that NYXL is going forward with its plan to recruit a roster of marginalized gender players despite community protests, though the roster will likely be mixed now since they've exhausted other options. So essentially like a PR move, so to speak, they're looking to maybe go towards like a Shanghai Dragons level disaster, where they sign players that are from like marginalized gender groups, just mostly for PR, I feel like. Like, it's good intentions to get that kind of exposure for them, but it's just wrong to force it like this. Because a lot of these players just aren't OWL level. That's the issue. Like, if some of these players were OWL caliber, it'd be cool, it'd be whatever, but you're kind of being set up to fail when a lot of these people aren't at that level yet. You're putting them on this team just because you want to, and it's not going to translate well, and they're looking like they're probably going to be one of the worst teams, if not the worst team. You know, like, while it sounds really, you know, like, really good on paper, it provides nothing but a disservice to the very people the organization is trying to uplift, though. Like, you don't just make an offer to someone because they're a woman or they identify as a woman, whatever it may be. Like, that's not how it works. Like, it's great. We want to have more female exposure in the league. It'd be great to have someone aside from Giguri make it into the league. But you can't force it. It has to be right so they can actually succeed. Yeah, and so then you have representatives from New York are allegedly reaching out to high-skill players of underrepresented genders, mostly those who played in the most recent Calling All Heroes Challenger Cup qualifier tournament. Like, I'm worried, like, because, you know, there's a lot of awful people out there. I'm worried what they're going to say about these people. It's probably going to hurt them a lot, really hurtful words. I mean, even some of the greatest players in this league probably get some of the nastiest DMs you'll ever see. And, like, now we're putting these poor people through it when a lot of them have probably gone through a lot already in their playing careers. It's just horrible. It's just a horrible, horrible thing, and I completely disagree with it. It's got to feel right. It's got to feel natural. And you got to give them an actual reason to play well. Yeah, there are some good players out there, but are they OWL level? I don't really know about that. And so then we go on in Liz's article, you know, hearing them say they wanted to make a female roster. It hit me as a positive thing. But then, upon further discussion, there aren't enough people to make one of these teams, but then they decided to go through with it anyway. Yeah, then this is the big thing. Without a full pool of players to pull from, building an entire team based on an idea instead of skill would lead to disaster. Like, we've seen other esports teams try and do this too, and it's been bad. I can't stress enough that I would love to see more of these players in the league. It's very important for growth and for diversity. But if you do it this way, if you make it so forced, it's just gonna put us backwards instead of forward. Oh, I can't use ad block on Dot. For the simple fact that when you enable ad blocker on Dot, it tells you to disable your ad blocker. Yeah, Aspen seems like she's OWL level, according to a lot of people. I wouldn't mind seeing her in the league. At all. It'd be great. Oh yeah, this is another thing. This is like, what the heck, man? Due to the lack of available talent, sources stated they believe the NYXL were contacting players of underrepresented genders below the level of Overwatch contenders. Below! We're not even talking contenders level players. The level below that. You think they'll be able to compete at the OWL level? Come on, man. Minimal competitive experience? Bro. Yeah, I think it was in League, you're right. Like, we're talking open division level players? And those people refused, thank the Lord. I mean, you should. You should refuse in that situation. Cool, yeah, you can get paid, you can be an OWL, but at what cost? I respect all of the people who turned down that opportunity because it could be once in a lifetime for all of them. Yeah, the Excelsior did not want to consider a mixed roster because the statement isn't wide enough. And yeah, then though it's a well-intentioned goal, sources say the organization won't listen to the downsides of such an endeavor, which could lead to disaster. What are they doing in that org? Remember when New York was one of the most respected orgs in OWL? Like, bro. Yeah, this is outdated, but still. They're continuing to go through with this plan. They're considering a mixed roster, but they still want to get some of these players. You know, like, and that's just not okay. But yeah, this is essentially what happened, you know, with the New York drama for who was asking earlier. And also, hello, Cynthia. I'm glad that they aren't doing the full thing anymore, but supposedly they're still going forward to recruit some of them. You know? This is from the 29th of December. Yeah, it really makes me so mad. Yo, what's up, Enzui? Yeah, it's just, I don't get it, man. They were a fan favorite, you know, like those first few seasons. They were so fun. Jonak, all these really cool players, and now look at them. I really firmly believe they got lucky. They lucked into what they had. My dad even thinks this is going to fail. He's not even an OWL fan. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure it out. It's just ridiculous. I would love to hear a comment from New York, but I've heard nothing. Yikes. I believe it was Aspen who said this is true as well. Somewhere? Yeah. Aspen commented on this saying OWL 2023 is a joke and they learned nothing. Whether they go half marginalized or full, like seriously, it's still ridiculous regardless. NYXL's like half going through with their plan, not the full thing. And I'm sure they probably have looked towards some better level players, but they're going mixed from the looks of it, which still isn't great. They assume if it does work, it's really good, but if it doesn't, it makes everything way more difficult for marginalized genders, which is true. I think we should all be optimistic and hope things go well, but it's really hard given the circumstances. I think they're trying to fail to get out of the league while not being forced to pay their $20 million buy-in fee. RIP. The League Mafia Halo rivalry is going crazy. Yeah. Yeah, like if you get a couple of talented players, it's cool, but the rest you have to at least have something. You know, you don't want to be like 0-40 Dragons. If Jonak came back mid-season, which team could he play on? Any team that needs an upgrade at flex support, you know, like there's probably a lot of options. I doubt it though. I've heard Jonak is still nowhere near ready to play, just being honest with you. But I mean, pick your poison. He could probably go into a lot of places. Like, does he want to go to Seoul, Shanghai, Philly? Well, Philly, God, I keep saying Philly. Seoul number 2? I would say Boston, but that would be ridiculous. It's probably some of these teams he could go to. Is DS still playing? Maybe. Yeah, no, in terms of the League Mafia Halo thing, though, I kind of just mind my own business. I only care about the roster moves, you know? I'm sure a lot of you feel the same way. Like, it's not worth investing in what they're talking about. I just keep my head down, you know, when I see news, cool, and that's it. It's not worth wasting the energy. Finally quit being a Valorant fan. Nice. Any idea who you want to go to next? Pre-cooking Izzyaki Twilight Jonak flex support line. I mean, honestly, maybe Dia, if he can't get any offers, would just do Soul. Or Soul, what? What am I saying? Oh, God. You joined Shock? Nice. Any moves after Shock v Fuel? Oh, yeah, there was like a handful of stuff that we had just discussed before. Just played Jonak at DPS. A 76ers affiliate team. Okay, no notifications from the Twitter. So yeah, I'm disappointed at NYXL. I'm not happy with where they're going. Their org just continues to go lower and lower and lower and lower, in my regards. My top 4 going into 2023 right now, I mean, it's got to be Shock, Houston, Atlanta, and Boston right now. Did I see Mayhem got Chorong? I did. We talked about it. All right, Arthur, sounds good. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate it. Reiner left the Glads. Yep, we talked about it. Yeah, Mayhem could be pretty scary. I won't lie to you. I think it depends on how this mixed team does. Hey, yo, Tornado, thank you for becoming a member yet again. Welcome back to the squad. I appreciate it. London will probably be where they were last season. That's pretty reasonable. Maybe a little worse. I think quitting being a Toronto fan would be a good thing, but I can't get them out of my heart. Yeah, unfortunate. More great in the chat, yes. Thank you again, Tornado. I don't know why it's not playing messages. So I can fix that. Hold on. I'm gonna go to my alert box. Members. Is there TTS with... Actually, I don't think there's a TTS option for memberships. Would you look at that? I did not know that. The more you know. Tagged me on Twitter. Oh, Lord. What was I cooking? My sources have confirmed Chorong to Florida Mayhem. Yeah, what were you cooking? You just knew that? What are your thoughts on Yaki to Glads potentially? I think it's not too bad. It's a little weird, but I could see it working. Praying Toronto do announcements in 4 minutes. Yeah, let's all pray we have some more juice. Is Violet retiring a rumor? I don't know. I could not tell you. I don't have anything to confirm for you in that regard. Isu to Shock is the big rumor right now. Nero straight up deleted his Twitter? Is that so? It went in trending. Nice. Oh yeah, he's gone. Where'd you go, Nero? Sag. Fun fact, Nero at one point followed me on Twitter, and then he unfollowed me. Bumper to Glads would go so hard. What if Bumper to Shock? I don't think so. We're just hoping news happens. Probably not, but we're just hoping there's some sort of other juice to talk about before the end of stream. Nero deletes his Twitter all the time. Oh, really? Does he? Oh. Bumper to NYXL. Honestly, at this point, you might as well. Maybe said something mean against him in a video. Probably. Although nothing beats the record. My unfollow record is Kai. I remember getting a notification on my phone saying that Kai followed me. But I think he did it on accident, because when I looked, it didn't say he was following me anymore. That was like the most epic speed run of my life. I was so hyped, because at the time, Kai was like my favorite player in the league. I saw Joystick follows you and Emong. I don't. Does Emong follow me? I don't think Emong follows me. No, Emong doesn't follow me. I didn't think so. Well, it's funny you bring up Emong. You know, Keon, you know Cam. I was playing quick play with Cam yesterday, and or not yesterday, the day before. Emong was in our quick play game on the other team. It was pretty funny. I'm currently Diamond 2. You think I have a chance in NYXL? Oh, of course. Got flats in my quick play game the other day. Oh, CarQ. Yeah, CarQ follows. Yeah, we won that game. We beat Emung. What's NYXL cooking? Why is chat being like this? Supposedly, they're going back through with their original plan of making at least a partial marginalized gender roster, and people are kind of cringing because everyone's saying it's a bad idea, and they're still going to do it anyway. Yeah. Leak Mafia said something about NYXL earlier. Oh, is that so? Yeah, Emung and Flats, they're done with their teams. They'll probably join new ones. What does that even mean? Essentially, they're going to sign players that, are either like... I don't know how to word this correctly. A lot of people maybe identify themselves as like a woman, whether they were born that way or transgender, whatever it may be. And they're picking up players who aren't necessarily OWL level. Non-binary, yeah. Female, non-binary, and transgender. And I feel like they're doing it just for the sake of signing them instead of getting good players. Like, it's going to be a mixed roster. It's not their entire roster, but still, it's, like, weird. Because if they were told it was a bad idea, they weren't listening. They're like, okay, maybe we won't. And now they're like, you know what? We're going to do it partially. We're going to half-ass it. Did you see Toronto announced a new streamer? I think so, which is pretty cool. The Kai retirement may be a bait, by the way. It says retired OWL DPS, but Kai's someone who likes to troll on Twitter a lot, so I wouldn't assume anything just yet. Is Nugget still GM? Yes. I think Kai's baiting, but we'll see. He did delete his LFT, but that might be because he found a team. Yeah, Kai is someone who enjoys a little bit of tomfoolery on the internet. The rumor is Yaki's going to Glads, which is cool. Have I talked about the Mayhem signings? Indeed, we have. Yeah, I mean, unless Kai actually said he's retiring, I'm not going to assume anything with him. He could retire, though. I wouldn't rule out the possibility. People get bored. Plans change. Do you think Toronto could stick with 2 coaches if they got no hill? Yeah, I think that'd be a pretty good coaching core. Any Toronto news? The only thing I know is that we got a report saying that they're supposedly getting American Tornado Core, OG Ultraviolet Kaluge, Reiner Sam, Speedily Hydron. I mean, there was a rumor that they might get Majed, but now Majed said he's still LFT, so I don't think so. I mean, there might be less people running it, to be fair. The page. Well, technically, Sam was on American Tornado as well. At one point, I think. I want to say he was. Well, 4? No, Sam. Oh, God. How do I spell it again? Dear God, wait. Why am I... Just click on it, you idiot. It's a 9, not a 4. Why'd I put a 9? Jesus Christ. Yeah, he was on American Tornado. That's what I thought. Yeah, Junbin Max would be sick. Can Toronto please announce their roster? I sure hope so. I don't know why I put a 4. Why does everyone have to spell their names with numbers, for crying out loud? What about Speedily? Speedily was on American Tornado, yeah. This team is American Tornado. I mean, Hanbin's just more proven, so that's more appealing to me personally. What about Profit? We don't know anything about Profit. So many people have come in and asked about Profit today, and I just don't have an answer for you guys. I'm sorry. I don't know what's gonna happen with him. The issue is he got, like, him leaving Seoul as late as he did makes it really weird. I don't know realistically where he's gonna sign. Oh, part-time Wikipedia editor here. Yeah, it's good to know. I mean, yeah, it does take some time. There aren't that many people. I figured, you know. Imagine Prophet the Shock. That'd be stupid. Like, he wouldn't even play, I feel like. My heart says Prophet to Infernal. I think that'd be cool if he could stay, like, at least kind of Soul-related. How long you think it'll be before teams finish announcing rosters? Definitely a few months. It's going to take a lot of time. I heard that the Shock might be getting Hisu as their hit scan. Just carrying the whole site. Wow. Nothing on Chengdu. APAC is just dead silent. It is radio silent in APAC. Aside from Seoul, I should say, aside from teams like just dying, there's been nothing. Like Moon to Shanghai happened. Spark just released more players. Valiant got rid of their whole team again. There's been no gains in APAC, just all L's, which makes sense. Did Titans announce another Boston player? No, they did not. But as I've been saying throughout the whole stream, your guess is as good as mine as to where Prophet ends up choosing to go, if anywhere at all. I don't think he has a ton of options. That's like my one thing I'll say. Just so many teams are so stacked at his role, and it's not like Prophet wants to settle playing on a bad team. That's just not the kind of player he is. He wants to win. That's always been his mindset. Where do you think Fate will end up? I wouldn't mind seeing him on Infernal, but they're getting Mag, I think, potentially. Fate could maybe go to a team with, like, one tank right now. Hold on. Fate could maybe go... I mean, Guangzhou, maybe? Gladiators? Sure, why not? I wouldn't mind Atlanta, to be honest. Profit to Atlanta would be crazy, but they've already spent so much money. Fate to Dallas, I guess, yeah. Why not? Fate back in LA, but on the other team sounds so cursed. Yeah, it'd be weird to see Prophet join an NA team unless he really just wants to win another title. The problem is, which APAC team has enough money to really spend for him, aside from, like, Infernal? Maybe Dallas, but they're not an APAC team. It's a toughie, man. Sparkle is officially back on Dallas Fuel. This is confirmed. Dallas brought him back along with Hanbin, as well as Edison. There's... Boop, he's back. Shanghai's rebuild could start with Profit at the center, but how much money can they realistically spend? Yeah, he could settle for a smaller salary to stay in Korea. This is true. But what can Shanghai really build? I don't really know. It seems like they're kind of dying right now. Especially with NetEase being their owners. I don't know. What do you think about Yaki and Bumper to Glads? I don't think Bumper makes that much sense, but I could see Yaki. Doha to Shanghai? That'd be pretty cool. Oh, Kai retired? Like, actually? Or is this a bait? No, never mind. Just debate. We don't know if he's actually retiring. Oh, Bumper to Glads is a rumor? Is that so? Let's give MCD a chance. Yeah, it's worth giving him a chance. I'm just not expecting much. Yeah, his bio says it, but if you don't know, Kai is notorious for trolling, so I wouldn't say anything for certain just yet. Dante to Titans, I don't think makes that much sense now, to be honest. He could, just as a tank player, wouldn't be that good, I think, because him and Punk play similar things. He could be a DPS, I guess. Bumper to Glads was originally on Wikipedia as an insider source, but it got deleted like an hour later. RIP. Isn't it so funny where people just get these sources? People have all the ins and outs, and then there's all of us. We're kind of just like, huh, I wonder what's going to happen. I personally don't care that much. I mean, if I really wanted to, I could probably find some people would tell me things. Like, if I really begged and got on my knees and was like, please tell me. But that's just not the kind of guy I am. I don't like being annoying. Plus, I don't think it's necessary either. I find out when I find out, and then I make YouTube videos on it. I don't need to be some sort of leak boy or anything like that. It's not really my thing. I'm cool with being where I'm at. My voice is really cool. I appreciate that. It is more fun this way when you don't know what's going to happen. I like being a part of the Twitter horde of an announcement. Leaks take away from the hype. True. Thoughts on the Mayhem pickups? I like them. Yeah, but I don't need any of the insider stuff to enjoy myself. It's all good. I'm happy being me. You feel? Yeah, plus that's true. Leaks are kind of a miss mostly. Like, you know, sometimes I get some hints from people here and there, which is cool, and that's more than enough for me. Helps keep things a little bit more exciting once in a while, and that's fine. What if Kai to Mayhem? Considering they have merit, I don't think so. And they just got their third DPS, so. I think MCD and Bliss played well in the Fuel versus Shock Show match. I wouldn't put much stock into it because it was not that serious at times. They did fine for what it was, for what the event was. Can't wait for the 5 OWL watchers who don't follow the offseason to see the new Boston roster. Yeah, imagine the people who don't keep up with this stuff. You know, they're just completely offline and they just watch on YouTube. They're going to freak when they see some of these changes. I kind of envy them. Kind of wish I could be in the same spot. Imagine one day you just wake up, you get ready to watch the Boston Uprising, and you're like, oh, I wonder how Valentine and Punk will do this year. And then you have Smurf and Decay and Birdring and all these people, and like, what the heck? Like, I wonder how Overwatch League's gonna go today. Oh my goodness. People put way too much stock into Birdring popping off in a Legends match. Like, stuff like that is true. I have confidence in Birdring in general just because he's that guy, but it's understandable to maybe think he's overrated. Favorite rookie of every team? Do you mean in 2022? Did every team even have a rookie? I don't know if every team even had a rookie. Did they? Dallas had a rookie. Shock had a rookie. Glads. Houston. Rain. London. Yes. Florida. Yes. Defiant. Yes. Did Washington have a rookie? They'd opener. Boston. Yes. Titans. Yes, I think. Yeah, they did. New York did. Eternal had lots. Seoul did. Shanghai did not. Right? No, I don't think Shanghai did. Bebe. Bebe's not a rookie. Yeah, only got Bebe. Lol. Philly, yes. Are Shanghai the only team? Are Shanghai the only team that did not get a single rookie? Holy moly. I think they are. That's wild. Wow. That's pretty crazy. Hunters had Daisy. And then Valiant had Easy Han and Becky and stuff. So to answer that question, best rookie on every team, do you think Lip will ever get an MVP? Probably. I think Houston will do a combo of both. Best rookie from every team, I mean, Dallas is Chio, obviously. Shock's Proper, obviously. Gladiators, you could say Reiner or Patty Pan when he played. I probably Reiner, though, because Patty retired. Houston's Merritt. Atlanta Rain. Probably Vigilante or Ultraviolet. London. Backbone was pretty good. Florida, I mean, someone was insane. Hydron. Defiant. Chorong. You can't say Vigilante when he barely played, but he did play some, and he looked pretty good. Venom didn't even play that much either. I mean, he was good in that one tournament, I guess. I guess you could say Venom. I liked Ultraviolet, though, personally. Where was I? Oh, God. Washington. Was opener their only rookie? Am I stuck with just saying opener? Oh, dear Lord. Oh, they had Vigilante, but Vigilante played like 4 games. Can I really say Vigilante? He was their best player. I mean, he was the better player, but didn't really play. He was off the team before we knew it. I guess you could say Vigilante was the best. He was good when he did play. Sure. Boston had, what, just Victoria? And they had Itzal, but, like, who cares about him? Just, oh, wait, they had Seeker. Seeker was good. I liked Seeker. Seeker was pretty nice. I'll gladly go with Seeker. Titans, King was pretty good. Avril's gassing opener so hard in preseason. Rip. I had a lot of doubts about him. New York Excelsior had Kellen. That's like it. Huh. Didn't they just have Kellen? On Ho1? HO1? O1? Kellen by default, I guess. Vulcan Omega lol. Eternal, you could go with... I mean, they had so many. I thought Dove was pretty decent. I guess. So, I mean, Vindame was pretty gross. wub for the memes. Shanghai didn't have a rookie. Philly, you could go with Zest or MN3. I liked Zest for his consistency personally. Alpha E for Spark for sure. Charge had, who did Charge have? I mean, Aprita didn't play. Unique? Oh, God. Oh, I have to pick Unique by default? Oh my God, I do. I gotta pick Unique. He was so bad. Well, maybe he's their best by default. Chengdu, best by default. Dai Z. Valiant, I'd say probably Becky. Unique is definitely one of the players in OWL history. We are agreeing. He was one of them. Holy moly, I can't believe how many people are asking about Prophet today. Are all the Prophet fans coming out to the stream tonight? This is wild. How many times have I talked about him today? No, there's no Prophet news, by the way. I don't want to sound like I'm lashing out on you. It's just, I've heard so many people come in and ask about Prophet today in specific. It's crazy. There's no news or rumors on Prophet whatsoever, though. It is radio silent in the land of Prophet. Yo, Lopez, good to see you. No, again, it's nothing on you. I'm just saying I've gotten so many Prophet questions in this stream today. It's like blowing my mind. News for Violet. I had heard that he might be off shock. That was what Leak Mafia said it. Violet is as good as gone, it seems, from shock. There you go. Yeah, Grillo got a ring before Carpe. Just remember that. Why did Boston need Kalios? Maybe for some extra versatility. Imagine if we had news dropped right when you said radio silence. That'd be great. Rio and developer OWL champions, yes. Thoughts on Florida moves? I like them, especially Chorong. Yeah, this offseason has certainly been a weird one. Prophet to Soul's the answer. I mean, at this point, it might just happen again. I didn't think it would, but at this point, it might. Which Soul? Oh my God, yeah, true. Soul 1 is the dynasty. It feels so weird. We're gonna have to like just straight up call them the Dynasty and the Infernal. We're gonna say Soul, and we're gonna be like, Soul who? God, that's weird. That's so weird. Prophet to Soul Infernal? He could go there. I could see him going to either Soul team. SEO and SIN might be the acronyms. Yeah, probably. It says it feels really odd to say Soul Infernal. You think Valiant will relocate? I'm going to say there's probably like a 70% chance, yeah. They might as well, which breaks my heart, but I want it to happen because then I don't have to associate what I knew and loved with that horrible, horrible mess, you know? Because I loved that team for 3 years and they broke my heart. So it'd be nice if they weren't called that anymore so I could just have the wonderful memories in my heart and that's it. Yeah, Battle of LA will never happen again. It's a real bummer, too, because the Valiant started off so good in the Battle of LA. They won a ton of their first meetings in Season 1. They went like 4 for 5, I think, in Season 1, and then they didn't win ever again after that. Real bummer. They lost like 4 straight after that, or whatever it was. 5 straight, 4 straight, something like that. They lost 2 in 19, and I think 2 in 20. So I think it's tied at 5, isn't it? Isn't their all-time series tied at 5? Yeah, isn't it weird how Glads won both games in Season 3? That was crazy to me. Both games were close, but somehow the Valet just couldn't beat them. They're just their kryptonite. Bird Ring tore them apart. It's 6-5 LA Gladiators because of a stage playoff match. Really? I thought it was 5-5. Because I thought because of the stage playoffs, it was tied at 5. Because the Glads won, I mean, after 18, they won every single match. Yeah, maybe you're thinking of Shock. Because how I remember it going was 2018 Stage 1, Valiant won, reverse sweep. Stage 2, Gladiators won, it's tied at 1. Stage 3, Valiant won. Stage 4, Valiant won. Stage 4 playoffs, Valiant won. And then the rest of the Gladiators won. It was 2019 Stage 4 and I think Stage 1 or 2, don't remember, one of those two. And then 2 games in 2020. Vegas versus San Francisco, most legendary rivalry. Prophet said on stream he wants to stay in Korea. Oh, you deleted your message. Nice. Should have been the Busan Infernal. I agree. I think it was just because they're located in Seoul, like their headquarters. Mayhem never lost to Glads, and Glads never lost to Valiant, and Valiant never lost to Mayhem. Yeah, that really messes with your mind, doesn't it? What a weird time that was. What a weird circle. People keep saying that, but so many teams aren't based where their namesake is. This is also true. It still could have been the Busan Infernal. You are correct. Any leaks on where Surmagen and Animo are? So Animo has actually publicly said that he's looking to get into coaching. It seems that he's done as a player. He says LFT position coach. So there's your answer for Animo. And then as for Majed, he is still LFT. Still a free agent. Junbin, rumor is to Shock. Do I play a lot of Overwatch or do you play a lot of Overwatch yourself, or you mainly just watch? I don't play as much as I used to, but I still do play probably like, I don't know, once or twice a week, you know? Sometimes. It's kind of hard right now with how sucky the game feels, but I still play from time to time. I was thinking of maybe playing Ranked one of these days on stream. Ranked kind of sucks, but maybe I'll have some fun, you know, not take it seriously, and I'll play DPS and tank instead of support. Rumors on Kai? None right now. Do I think Jinmu will stay in Chengdu? Probably not. A community pugs on stream? Yeah, maybe one of these days. Aim God? No. Well, it's because I'm not that good at tank and DPS, so like it's like a fun learning moment for me to improve on those roles. Because I'm just not nearly as confident on those roles compared to my support. Support is by far my best. Do you know what's going on with Violet? Did he retire? I don't know about retirement, but he's going to be off the Shock, apparently. Just want Zephyr back in the league. Same, though. Same. The GOAT. The greatest player of all time. Did you try Ramatra on open queue? I'm not really an open queue guy. Is Toby still the better Souls coach? Yes, I believe so. Also, yeah, Majed kind of just speaking what I was just saying into existence. Ranked is so boring, LOL. Best pickups for Soul Infernal. I mean, I really hope the mag thing is true. I'd like to see them sign mag. I'm really upset they couldn't secure Twilight or Shu or any of those guys. That was like my dream for them to get a top level flex support, and that ain't looking too good now. So it's just whatever's left on the market, some sort of flex support, please. That's all I want. I want more stability on their back line and a more consistent front line. It's 6-5 Valiant all time if you count preseason. I personally do not, but if you do, then that makes sense. Understandable. Yeah, Chorong Twilight to Phil. Oh, I keep trying to say Philly. Oh my god, I can't get it out of my head. To Infernal. It's just, it feels weird saying Infernal 2 because Eternal, like, why did they have to make everything so similar? They look like the Titans logo. They're from Seoul, which is a place that already has a team. And they sound like Paris Eternal, Vegas Eternal. Oh my god, oh my god, the muscle memory keeps kicking in. Vegas Eternal, Seoul Infernal. Oh my god. I have a 2018 Grand Finals hat that now makes even less sense. Yikes. You know, part of me, I'm hitting the breaking point. No, we already hit that long ago. I already hit my breaking point when the free agency start got moved for like a third time or second time, whatever it was. This is his Joker moment. That was a fun rant stream. Yeah, I was pissed. That was ATP unhinged. How many teams in OWL? 20. Watching some old OWL and EQO is so underrated. I love EQO. I'll never switch to Val, I promise you that. 15 teams is what it feels like, though. True. Honestly, I've wiped the Valiant out of the existence in my head, so it feels more like 19 teams for me. Anything from not that Halo, not the game Halo, Halo of Thoughts. Probably nothing. No, didn't think so. It's so crazy. So crazy how him and Leak Mafia are like going with this weird back and forth. I'm trying so hard to just focus on the news. Yeah, that's part of the problem. Halo's like ego, I guess, is kind of, I mean, it's not all his fault, to be honest, because some people have been really harsh on him, but at the same time, some of it's his fault too. I try to just ignore that and look past it, though. This is funny. Got him his Halo from last season announcing every signing. It's hilarious. I love how seriously some people take leaking, the leaking part of Twitter. We're lucky to get any of this stuff at all. Like, it's just so silly. Like, even if some of it's not true, like, I don't really consider any of this to be in a professional setting, really. You know, this isn't like we're following people from ESPN, you know? This is like a minor scale compared to that. Trying to get my own expansion team to get the people of NYC a team they deserve. Nice. Great time to be one of those 5 OWL watchers. True. No, we're not getting expansions in OWL anytime soon. Yeah, I'd hope that Houston can get some sort of good main support. That'd be nice. Because the rest of their team looks good, so you want to be well-rounded enough. 2030. Yeah, if the league even lives for that long, hello. We'd be lucky to make it to 2025 at the rate we're going. An OWL manager simulator would be hilarious. You know, I wish that was a thing. It'd be fun if it was like a My GM from like NBA 2K, you know, where like it has like stats for players and stuff, like grades, you know, like a potential rating, you know, like a playmaking rating, stuff like that. That'd be hilarious. Like scout people. That'd be so cool. Imagine 2K, but it's OWL. I need OWL 2K. Like, I could play a manager simulator of that all day. That'd make for great stream content. Can you imagine it makes, like, auto-generated rookie players? Yeah, like, you scout the next, like, proper. That'd be great. What city do you want to be a part of, OWL? Another Korean city that isn't Seoul. Profit 99 overall. Yeah, like, stuff like that. They should push OWL in your face. They really need to. Could you technically do it with NBA 2K if you wanted? I mean, like, a certain sense, yeah, because, like, you both things have a starting 5. You can, like, just ignore the basketball aspect of it. That'd be weird. I don't even know how that would work. Another EU team, that'd be nice. Silver 3, 100 overall with 110 potential. DraftKings for OWL would be sweet, yeah. It's nice to dream about these things. I think part of the crazy thing with this, like the insults for Halo, is everyone just calls him bald. I don't understand what that's about. Like, thank you for stating the obvious. He is indeed bald. I just don't know why that's like such a big insult. It's so funny. You and all the other journalists need to stand together and ignoring crybabies. Who's more disappointing, 2018 New York or 2022 Glads? For me, actually, they're pretty on par. I'd say Glads just because they fell off kind of hard in the second half of the year. It's very comparable, though, to be honest with you. Both kind of flopped in the playoffs. Both kind of sandbagged a little in a way. I mean, Glads didn't sandbag, they just struggled. But you get the idea. A Tokyo OWL team would be pretty cool. We need OWL Fantasy back, true. I think there might be certain platforms, but none that have really approached me or that I've really gotten, you know, real interest from. I mean, yeah, it's basically a repeat, Glads 2022 compared to NYXL 2018. Yeah, there's no Japanese OWL teams. Berlin Bears, that'd be pretty cool. Hello, my duo. Seems like RuPaul's pretty hyped about this one. Look at him hype. Look at him gassing up his new teammates. You love to see it. Eats glue, but good player. What? What do you mean he eats glue? Hello? That's hilarious, man. I love John. This guy's the GOAT. It just sucks that he's like kind of done. That's hella funny, man. Starting the next chapter of our lives together. Oh, Zavala getting married, perhaps? Oh my god, that guy. Look at that guy's eyes. He's handsome. Handsome lad. Good for her. That's awesome. Very cute. Oh yeah, here's the Lake Mafia thing. Bun and moving fish. Just to get an idea of who they are. Bun. DPS player. Uh-oh. My OBS is freaking out. Cool. You love to see it. I think everything's okay. Or we freaked out a little. Yeah. We were dying for a second. We're back, though. And if the audio sounds scuffed, just refresh the stream, because it happens. Alright, Cynthia, sounds good. What happened to Avala? She's getting married. Which is pretty cool. The more leaks that come out about this roster, the worse I feel. Understandable. Do I follow soccer? No, not really. Not my thing. And not to offend the EU people out there. Football. Most chill tone of voice of we're dying, but we're good now. Yeah, you know, it happens. Guess I'll just check what's going on with this real quick one more time. Anything? Nope, the violet is gone from shock. What Spark Soul room are we talking about? Don't know. Looks like I'm pretty caught up. Don't know what all this is about. Atlanta said their roster is complete. Yeah. I'm fine with their flex DPS. I like Stalker. Happy Winton Wednesday, Pog. What a week, huh? Winton. This is so funny. Oh. So silly. Is there... Oh, nice. Primal Rage. And then you just have this. And this is part of why I hate having notifications on for everything, because this is what I see in my Twitter notifications. Winton, Winton, Winton. Anything happen with Yaki? He might be going to Gladiators, apparently. Prayers out to McGravy, by the way. This is really sad. Poor guy. Really sucks. Oh, it's awful. McGravy's a great dude. Wishing him the best. I'm sure that's tough. And you're complaining about, well, I mean, Penguin, as someone who tries to be productive and wants to see the news, when I see my phone vibrate, I'm expecting to see something huge, not Winton. I don't think anything else is happening. We're pretty caught up here. Kaliel's coming back home. True. Something I honestly didn't even think about. Kaliel's is back on Boston after 5 years. Isn't that something? Where it all began for this man. Yeah, it's really sad, Keon. So much stuff. So many awful things. what happened. The screen is blurry. You might just want to refresh. They were trolling. For those of you who didn't see it, I guess I fell for it, actually. I didn't realize. I'll show y'all what happened there. Did they remove it? No, it's still there. I got trolled hard by this. This is an official announcement. Welcome, Dante. This is all I saw on my phone, so I figured it was real. And I was like, dear God, I think I just got trolled. I don't know why they'd do this. That's just pain. And it probably fooled a lot of people like me. This is not real, though, Sag. Can confirm. Not real, got baited. I'm dumb. Big dumb. Yeah, that is a big appeal of Smurf. He can play literally anything. There are 3 things in life: death, taxes, and Winton. That's true. Yeah, I got you baited hard. Does the Dante count as a signing? If not, we could expect another one since we got 2 others. Am I just misunderstanding their tweet? I think you're misunderstanding their tweet. Because, they did announce 3 things technically today. 2 players and then their coaches coming back. I think that was what they had in mind, yeah, and to wrap up our announcements. So, no. I think Glads and Dante make sense. You've returned to Monkey? Nice. The ice cream, the perfect snack for ATP stream. Is that the perfect snack to watch me stream, chat? What's the go-to snack to watch ATPOW? What do you guys enjoy eating while you watch a stream? If anything. Sand? Dante to Dallas? I don't know about that one, Chief. Cornbread and gravy. I love cornbread. Edibles. Steak. Cookies and cream. Nice. Donut. Lucy OOs. Water. Garlic bread. Pog. Popcorn. Oh, that sounds incredible. I'm trying to be a good boy and eat less now again because the holidays are over. And I ate a lot during the holidays. I'm trying to keep my weight at a certain point. Even though I was given a ton of sweets for Christmas, I have to resist the urge to eat them all, and it sucks. Currently gnawing on some rocks. Nice. The perfect snack. Eating straight oxygen. Always a good choice. Trying to be healthy again. Pepe hands. I took a long break from working out, too, because I wasn't feeling good the last few days. I'm a mesh, chat. I gotta try and maintain my weight, though, again. Give into in your hour mess. Oh, nice. So, Failure linked with flex support called Lee Soo-min. I don't know anything about him. Do you know anything about him? No, not really. I do know that that Contenders team, though, is pretty good. They have a lot of good players that are coming out of there, so he could be something decent. Just checked on Wikipedia. I asked if there was any news that has not been updated. No, not really. The only thing I can tell you really is that Violet is probably off the shock, but I think that was kind of obvious. Do I think Venom deserves another shot? Maybe. I'd like to see him playing Contenders first, though. We just mostly have seen him play Tracer. It's just not enough. I feel that, Penguin. I just have I can show you, actually. It's, like, right next to me. I have this ginormous bag of sweets. I don't know if you guys can, hold on, let me see. This is all sweets in here. And I have to resist the urge to eat all of this. What happened to Violet? He's probably going to be off the shock. I don't think he's retiring necessarily, but he's going to be off the shock. Were there any NY news apart from the drama? Anything decent? Decent? Not really, but I mean, rumors Bun, Moving Fish, and then there is what? Hold on, let me go back to the transfers. It's mostly a lot of just not exciting, to be honest with you. You have Haley, formerly known as Halo, played on Boston back in the day. It's probably about the most exciting thing to have going on for them. This stuff is unlikely. Haley, Bun, and Moving Fish, yeah. Sand is 0 calories, true. When it gets stale, everything's wrapped up. I mean, everything's in its packaging, so we good. It sucks, because I want to eat all of it, like, all the time, and I can't. I don't think I've seen the certain label next to anything. It's always the likely. Mag to deleted image. Nice. Soul Infernal, the goats. I wish it looked a little less like Vancouver and I'd be happy. I also don't mind the colors. Red is a weird choice though, I guess. I mean, it makes sense with Infernal. Like, obviously, for obvious reasons. But I don't know, man. We have enough red. We need some other colors. I don't like Vestal and a Justice rumor much. I mean, it might not happen. I think it's more so rumors of, like, people they've trialed, so we'll see. I think they should have kept it orange, too. As a red lover, I disagree. No, I'm also a red lover, but you gotta show some love to other colors. Like, we got Atlanta Rain. I mean, like, even New York have some red in them, a little bit at least. Like, Shanghai's red, Toronto, Eternal have some red. That might change, though. I don't think so, though. Yeah, there's a lot. Justice, yep, true. I think we could use, like, another green, or I think orange is, like, perfect, because we don't have any, like, real orange teams. Like, London are the only team with, like, some sort of orange in them, aren't they? Like, I just think it would have made so much more sense to keep it orange. It'd be cool if it was not primarily red. Like, this other color, yeah, these other colors on there would be nice. But obviously, it's not going to be a thing. I'm gonna head out. All right, Spitfire fan, sounds good. Shocker orange. I mean, like, Chengdu are orangey, but, like, they're also, for some people, more, like, yellowy. Like, I like the Philly orange was very unique is what I was trying to say. Like, Shock have some orange, but they're primarily black. I think the Philly orange was good. I don't know, man. Maybe that's just my opinion, though. I feel like we're missing that pure orange. That's what Philly brought to the table. Because Shock changed and Chengdu are, like, bright. I don't know. Was in the car when I found out and almost started crying because I loved Philly. Unfortunate. I'm sorry to hear that. Hey, Twilight Heels. Yeah, Fusion's owl skins weren't the greatest, but I still appreciated the like having that different color. It's like you could go with another purple, maybe. Any rumors for Spitfire? There were some. I don't really know if... Wait, no, it's this way. Transfers. There's the Skyrippa thing from back in the day, but then, it was what, Lethal? Lethal, maybe. So you got a couple things. Yeah, you did miss the looking back at ranking segment, but no need to worry because you can always catch it after the stream. It'll be on the VOD, but I'll also be uploading a separate video just of that section of the stream probably tomorrow. Like I was trying to say, though, I think we just need more unique colors in the league that stand out. Because, like, Houston have some green, but they're like, primarily black. Vancouver's, like, the one green team that we have, so we could do a green, you know, like, another light green team. Because we don't have the Valiant anymore. I mean, the Shocker kind of like silver and black now, so that's out. Other colors are cringe. A brown team, I guess you could do. Really tired on the work. And you want to sleep. Alright, sounds good, Awake. Thanks for hanging out. Just get $20 million and make a team of the unique color. Oh yeah, true. Yeah, but Outlaws are, like, mostly black. That's my thing. Like, there is some green on them, but they're, like, the primary black. I want, like, a primary green team. Aside from Vancouver. Because Houston skins are, like, black. And, like, their jerseys are, too, a lot of the time. Are they right now, though? Right now, I think they're more green. I don't remember. Oh, Jersey. Nice. Jersey. Yeah, I don't know. We need that pure green aesthetic. Glow-in-the-dark team? What about an invisible team? What else? Owl's way better than the NBA in terms of color diversity. Yeah, there is a lot of diversity. I'll give Owl that, but I want more. Because I'm picky. You're going to head out now? Well, I appreciate you hanging out for a while, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. Not gonna lie, NYXL seemed pretty invisible. Magenta, light. I mean, like, we kind of have a light blue with London. Kind of. What other real colors are we missing? We said brown. Like, we could do, like, a primary gray, like a full-on gray. Shocker black and gray, so there's that. Turquoise. Cyan. Dark green. Yellow. Yeah, that's true. Yellow. I'd love just a white team. That'd be hella confusing. What would their home skins look like? What would be the difference between home and away? Or would it just be one? Is that the 5-head move? It takes less time to produce the skins, so you just do one. Throw the home and away. Charger, like, pretty dark. I miss the Season 2 Valiant colors. Season 1, I'll take or leave, but, like, Season 2, and they had the dark green jerseys. Woof. Thoughts on the Florida Mayhem's moves? I am a fan, personally. I think they're good. Yeah, understandable. People forget about the Charge a lot. They're not the most popular franchise in the world. Like, it's cool that we have, like, a Spark, you know, like, they're pink. That's very different. Gladiators are purple. That's very, very different. Even Mayhem are pretty unique in themselves. Like, we need more of that. Same, ENV. They've been dead to me for a long time. Spark just look like bubblegum. True. But it matches their theme a lot, so it makes sense. Chengdu's colors are decent. Like, it just sucks that, like, some of these teams feel so similar. Like, Boston and Valiant, like obviously the blues are a bit different. But they're both blue and yellow, which is kind of cringe. Contenders next year is going to be absolutely insane. There's so many insane free agents. Yeah, it could be very interesting. Rainbow to embrace the chaos, not a bad idea. I appreciate Washington because they're like American themed, which is cool. Shock out the gray, which is cool. Shanghai are like kind of out there because they have like the red, the yellow, and the black on their skins. Not my favorite, but still. I mean, even though I didn't like the old Florida skins, it was cool that we had a yellow team. We kind of do need another yellow team. I'm sure they could do a better combo. Yeah, Eternal had French colors, which is nice as well. I appreciate stuff like that. I do. You know, Vancouver Titans are like their the Canucks, which is kind of a neat shout out. It is hard to do yellow right. That's true. I mean, some people liked the McDonald's skins, though. I didn't, but some people did. I prefer Florida's new branding, though, a lot more. It reminds me of kind of like the Miami Heat a little, with their alternate colors, which is cool. Hey, we got a fat follow from Steffi LMAO, the GOAT, Super's editor. Gonna have to follow him back. He's the GOAT. We follow him back all day. Let's go. Yeah, I like Florida's colors a ton. Toronto's colors are basic, but I like it because I'm biased. Black and red is just... Wait, I just unfollowed him? No, I followed him. What? Yeah, Toronto is like my favorite just because black and red are my two favorite colors. I'm very biased in that regard. It's very unoriginal and like gamer-like, but I like it. I don't have a favorite team. I am a free agent, I guess? I don't even know how to explain that. Yeah, I think I might like the Infernal skins. You love the Mayhem colors currently? Nice, nice, nice. I've considered picking a team again this year, but I don't know if I can do it. I'm like so undecided. Like I've been tempted to pick Florida because I know they're not like a top tier contender, but they're still like entertaining. I like their players and their coaching a lot. I was a Valiant fan from 2018 to 2020. And then once 2021 hit, I was out of there. Yeah, I'm not like a bandwagon type of person, so you won't see me go for a top team. That's just not how I am. Spitfire? Probably not. I don't think I can get myself to support Spitfire because all I've done is hate on them in the past. I don't think they want me over there. Lol. Diet Valiant, in a way. Become a Satiator. Glads is like one of the other teams I'll never support. Just because my pride as a former Valiant fan won't allow for me to happen. I don't hate the Glads, but it just feels weird. Toronto, I can't support Toronto for the simple fact that they're just never stable, and I don't like that. Atlantis, I feel like, will be too good. I mean, I was originally, after Season 3, I was thinking maybe New York, but I was never attached to their team, and then they just kept getting worse, and they kept giving me more reasons to dislike them, so I'm glad I dodged a bullet in that regard. I'm very glad I dodged a bullet there. I hard hopped on the Vancouver bandwagon. I think Vancouver's cool, but no, I don't really know. I appreciate Vancouver. I love their content creation guys over there. I've worked closely with them in the past. They're really cool, but not my team. I always appreciate Vancouver and Shock for giving me a chance to do stuff with them. It's dope. Florida's the perfect team to support if you're not looking for a top team, but a fun one to watch. Yeah, that's why I'm heavily considering it. We'll see. I don't think I could do an APAC team because I'm never awake during that time period. Just wouldn't make sense for me to do that. Florida does have a Vash. This is true. It sucks Dallas lost Fearless, but I think Combin deserves more of a spotlight. Yeah, he'll do great. Yeah, I don't think I could do Charge. APAC is out of the question for me. Not because I dislike APAC, it's just because I'm not awake when they play. I always have to watch the VODs, you know? I mean, originally I was going to do that when I heard Valiant were going to APAC, but I mean, then they died. Well, the Valiant I knew died. Not the players, but like the spirit died. I mean, I think Toronto's rumored team is cool, like of like the American Tornado players, but because they always change their team every year, I'm like, do I really want to support that? I don't think so. It broke my heart just seeing the Valiant change from their Season 2 iteration to their Season 3, like before the drama happened with China. Like, even that was a lot for me, and I really appreciate and like stability. And Florida seemed pretty stable right now, so that's probably like where I'd go if I did pick a team. I don't know if I will necessarily, but I'm kind of on the fence. We'll see how I do. If I pick a team, it might be Florida, though. I don't know about Justice, though. Pick Dallas. I mean, they just won the title, so not Dallas. Even after what they did to my boy Adam, yes, because they've lived and learned. Like I said, though, no guarantees. I've enjoyed my time just being a straight-up OWL fan, which I didn't think I would, to be honest with you. I thought it'd be harder for me to like what I do without having the Valiant there. But I've been okay. I've been fine. It does feel like something's missing for me, though. Did you see the rumors of Yaki to Glads? Any thoughts? I like it. It seems a little weird on the surface, but I like it. I want to see Yaki get a real chance. The Miami Mayhem sounds better. True. Is Houston a top 3 team? They could be. Well, I didn't mind the stress. I appreciate it. I liked having the stress of being a fan back in the day. It's something I do miss. But I've been able to carry on just because, you know, what I do now with the channel and how fun it is. Just making content. I don't have to worry about any of that stuff. I just do my thing. People can't get on me for being a biased Valiant fan or whatever fan because I don't like any teams. Well, I don't fully support any teams. You know, there's a lot of teams I like, but none that I support. I don't know anything about Sparker right now. I think it's fun just being a straight-up OWL fan, though, you know? I enjoy it. I enjoy it for what it is. I mean, aside from that, though, I think we've kind of reached the end of today's stream. You know, we've been going for like 3 hours now, and I mean, there's not really much else. There's no news. We did our reaction. If you missed the reaction, don't worry. The VOD's going to be up after. You can watch the stream back, or alternatively, you can wait till the new video comes out. I'm making one tomorrow. I recorded just the reaction section of the stream. It's a lot shorter than this. It's maybe like a little under an hour, so there's that if you want to watch that. But yeah, I'm basically done, chat. Hope you had a good stream. Hope you guys enjoyed your time. I don't know the next time I'll stream. Maybe later this week. We'll see. Maybe I'll play some Overwatch. I don't entirely know. We'll figure it out, though. Make sure to leave updates and schedule streams. You'll see notifications. But I hope you have a good rest of your night, chat. Thank you all so much for coming by. I had a great time. Had a blast reacting to this stuff alongside all of you. And I will gladly catch you guys in the next one. Thank you again, and good night. Peace out, guys.